gentlemen. Hello, ladies. Welcome to the Rage Select Pod. I'm sorry, Nick. I feel real bad. A few weeks ago, I don't know if it was a video or a podcast where I was talking about our demographics, and I was like, this place is a sausage fest, man, because we look at YouTube and our demographics on Rage Select are like 94% dudes, right?
You know what? That's exactly the same as mine. So actually, I think mine is 91%. I'm not entirely sure, but
but then I felt real bad because I had like at least like 4 or 5 women who were just like, "Hey, I'm here." They're like sending questions in the podcast and like in the chat room, just like, "Yo, man, I'm over here," and I'm just like, "No." So, hello, ladies, welcome to the classiest podcast. It's the Rage Select podcast. It's so classy that we worship a giant ding-dong lord. So, you know, that's how classy it is. But no, welcome everybody. I am Jeff, and Nick, you're the world-famous fucking driving your Mercedes-Benz to the giant Hollywood pool parties every weekend with the lovely models, the world-famous host of History Buffs Podcast.
Not yet, but I'm striving to it. I'll say that for sure, but I'm a long ways off, dude, before I can even pretend anything different.
All right. Well, then the up and coming, the brand new talent on the street. Everybody's going to be. You've heard about him here first before he got big. It's Nick. How about that? Is that better?
That's way better? Yeah, more appropriate. Yeah. But I'm definitely up and coming. I mean, like the subscribers are just past 2,300, which is like incredible.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. Considering I just started it like 3 or 4 months ago.
Well, I tell you what, for those of you, tell the people out there who don't know, I mean, I can't imagine there are that many, but tell them anyway what the people can expect and where to find your YouTube channel.
All right. Well, I have a YouTube channel called History Buffs. So you just type that into YouTube. I'm like the first 8 or 9 videos are all mine at the top. So I do it took a long time, but I did it. Yeah. So basically, it's a show where I review historical movies and I tell you how accurate the movie is based on the real events that it's based on. So that's about it. Like it's a video essay kind of format. It goes on for about 20 minutes, and I've also just started doing podcasts, which will also be about history and bullshitting and that kind of thing. So
some people would think that you really like history. They think that you might be kind of into history. I mean, you know.
Yeah. the name of the show is History Buffs.
I know.
Oh, really?
I know you, so I know the truth. That Nick Hodge doesn't give a fuck about history. Breaking news, everybody. It's no, I'm just kidding. You know what? Well, here's the thing that I find really odd, though, Nick, is that. Okay, so you got this YouTube channel, and I'm not trying to come down on you here on the podcast. You got this YouTube channel. You're all about history. You live in London. Yeah. You play video games.
Yes.
What's up with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Nick? I would kill for any video game in the world that was set even anywhere in Texas. I'll take Houston. I was psyched when The Crew had like Dallas as a place that, and I fucking hate Dallas. Dallas is Crapsville with crap. Okay, all you people who live in Dallas, you can just skip over for 3 minutes while I say, fuck Dallas and Fort Worth. Like I've been there several times. Houston, or Austin's where I live, and that's. But yeah, I was playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and I was like, Nick, why aren't you? You should be all over this, man.
I know. I've sort of like given up on the Assassin's Creed series, like right after 3. And I didn't care much for Black Flag, and Unity I thought was a piece of shit. So, I mean, like some people saying, yeah, but it's like the second one is like a funny sort of fun experience with Ezio sort of characters. I'm like, okay, I'll get around to it. I mean, so at the moment, I'm really playing Heart of Stone on The Witcher 3. Like that for me is perfect because that's a 10-hour campaign for like £8 DLC, which is incredible. So I'm just enjoying that. But to be honest with you, I don't have that much time to play video games as much anymore. I mean, like, my routine is just to play, like, an hour or 2 every night before I go to bed. And, then read a bunch of history books the next day. So
yeah, we've got a question in the email. So this might come back up. But, like, I've said this before, but Assassin's Creed also kind of gets into this. Witcher was definitely one of these. Metal Gear had a lot of this in it. I feel like 2015... the bane of video gaming for me has been open world games. Because like in Assassin's Creed, I mean, there's just like there are in the environment. There are for one example, right? There are these chests, right? Like it is every Assassin's Creed game, right? They're all over the place.
Yep.
But your chests,
Yep.
you kick them, they open up, bada bing. They have like a 2-second animation to kick the chest, and then it opens up, and then you get crafting materials, and you get some money out of it or whatever. Currently in Assassin's Creed, my character is maximum level. Everything's maxed out. All of the gear is bought, and I only have like 65% of the chests. So I have to ask myself, like, why would I ever bother to go run down a chest? I mean, it's more like it's one of those little Wrath of Khan brain worms that when I see the icon on my map, I pass by it and don't open it up. But like, I feel this year has just been bigger worlds, but there's less in them. And I really would like to see developers going for smaller worlds with more in them. Like, instead of mapping all of London, I think I would have been more interested in if you would have taken like one of the boroughs of London and then made every single house have an inside with a bunch of shit in it, and like, you know, have the story take place in these, like, you know, drawing rooms and, I don't know, inside of houses, like inside of places, instead of just giving me this giant world, but then populating it with just like, well, here's fucking 1,200, you know, hex glitches to pick up. And it's like, well, why?
It's tedious work, to be honest. Like, I just wanted to... I play these games for the story, mainly.
Yeah.
And unless they have some fantastic gameplay, which unfortunately they don't. It's pretty redundant by this point. But, I mean, like, if I was to get this game, probably the first thing I would do is try to find my house, because I know it was around during the Victorian times. But I bet you that, like, it's only in one borough of London, like central London, you know, where you get like Big Ben or those kind of places. But I really doubt that you go to Camden Town. Now, that would be pretty sick. I mean, I remember when The Getaway came out, and it was so spot on that, you know how there's a mini-map in most of these sandbox games? I didn't need to use that with The Getaway, because I knew the streets so well. It was so uncanny. And I always wanted another game to be like that, where it was so charismatically London that I don't even need to use a map to get around.
That's pretty fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. I finally finished as much of Assassin's Creed Syndicate as I'm going to play. Like, I still have a few side missions left, but fucking Charles Dickens can solve his own goddamn mysteries. I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, dude, I'm trying to save your town from Templars, and you're just like, we're very curious over here, the murderer, and I'm just like, yeah. This is fucking London in the 1800s. Everybody's getting murdered all the time. It's murder. Like, one of my favorite parts of this game is that, like, if you accidentally kill a civilian in Syndicate, the game will come up and it'll chastise you. It'll be like, Jacob and Evie Fry did not kill civilians. But if you run over a family of 6 while you're just whipping some horse cart down the street, the game is like, guess they had it coming. I mean, you know, shouldn't have been standing around in the street. Like, the game will actively chastise you if you blow up like a dynamite and it manages to kill civilians. But if you run them the fuck over, like on purpose, you drive on the sidewalk GTA style, it just kind of shrugs its shoulders. It's like, yeah, man, those horses are a bitch to fucking turn. But I got pretty much as far as I'm going to get. I'm at 88%. Like, I got to 88% of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. All the story missions, most of the side missions, some of the more interesting, like, kind of Easter egg content. And at the end of the day, it's definitely not a bad game, but it's just starting to come down to, like, I feel like Assassin's Creed has really fallen into that same rut in a lot of ways, like Call of Duty has, where it's like, this is the, 4th, 5th, 6th core Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're not exactly selling me on this. I mean, like, everyone's been telling me that's an improvement, but then again, Unity was such a piece of shit. So my expectations are low anyway.
It kind of depends on what you want, and I think that maybe that's the problem that I'm having is that. Like, when you look at the move from Assassin's Creed 2 to Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood, like, it added a bunch of new and interesting kind of gameplay mechanics to the game. When you come right down to it, Jacob and Evie Fry, like, their move set is a gun, throwing knife, a dart that makes people frenzy, smoke bomb, and voltaic, like a shock bomb, essentially. And that's it. Like,
They've also got the Batman grappling gun as well, which kind of ruins everything.
No, it's the best part of that game because after 6 motherfucking Assassin's Creed games, Nick, I don't have any interest in slowly climbing up the side of a building. I know I can do it. I've done it before. I've done it a million times. It's better just to look at a building and just go, all right, boop, and then I'm on top of the building instead of having to be like, well, is there a handhold here? Can you? I'm going to hit the jump button and then. No. But yeah, I mean, I think that Assassin's Creed. It seems like they're just kind of making the same game over and over and over and over again. And even the story, like Jacob and Evie Frye are coming to London. London is ruled by Templars. They're going to go ahead and form up an organization and break the Templar hold on London and give it back to the people.
Are they assassins from the get-go? Like, have they been training for this their whole lives? Or have they got the same bullshit thing like they had in Unity where the guy just, like, already knows how to run around?
No, they're assassins, and the guy in Unity, Arno, was an assassin as well. I think you're thinking of Black Flag, where...
yeah, that's it. Yeah, sorry. They all kind of meshed together in the end, so I can't remember.
Dude, Nick, come on, dude. There is a pirate ship in Black Flag. There is no pirate ship in downtown Paris. There isn't even, like, a building shaped like a pirate ship.
I know. I mean, like, I know you really liked it, but, like, it just didn't grip me, to be honest. It was like, oh, I get to go on a ship now. Like, whoop-de-doo. Who's the bad guy?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like I was talking on the live stream with Halo last week about how I just want them to do something different. Like, I want you, instead of coming to a town where Templars rule over the place, maybe this is a town that has been ruled by assassins, but the assassin order there has become corrupted, and now you have to fight assassin against assassin. Or, like, maybe here's a town where the whole town is at odds with each other, like the town is neutral, and like you're coming in on one side and the Templars are coming in on this side, and maybe have a dynamic thing where instead of just like I'm going to take over this neighborhood and then it's going to be mine, maybe it's more like some of the old Grand Theft Auto, or I think that like not Saints Row, but I've known some other games that do this where like you take over a neighborhood, but then you have to like buff it up, or else and from time to time the Templars will try to come take your neighborhood back, right? So there's like a push and a pull instead of just, because as it is, I started at the game, knocked out every one of the neighborhoods, did all the side missions, then went through, and by that time I was so over leveled that I just blazed a trail through the main story missions, like whatever, I'll shoot you in the face and shoot you in the face and shoot you and so I don't know. I just kind of want them to do something new. Like I hate it whenever anybody says that, Nick, because there are plenty of franchises that I love where say Dark Souls 3 comes out. Oh man, this is just Dark Souls 2 with a facelift, and I'm like, good. Just the world could use more Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 1. But it's been 6 core Assassin's Creed games and at least 3 or 4 sub games that I've played. Actually, to be honest, the sub games have had a lot more interesting stuff going on than the main games recently. Liberation.
You know why that is? It's because they've had more time to spend on them. Like, I think the problem with these games is that they got a 2-year production time or something.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean they've been out yearly for the last 6 years, right?
So it's like Infinity Ward Treyarch sort of situation where you've got like 2 different companies working back to back. I mean that's clearly not enough time. I think look at the Grand Theft Auto games. They spend ages refining each of those games and making additions, and it really pays off in the end. Or the Witcher series, each one is a standing achievement on its own merit. Whereas this is just like redundant. It's just the same. It's the same game, just with like a different texture and skins on them.
Wow, there has been a new Assassin's Creed game every year for the last 6 years. Starting with Assassin's Creed 2, there's been one every single year. 2 Brotherhood, Revelations, 3, 4 Rogue and Unity. Yeah.
And they're going about it all wrong. I mean, they say, oh, you can have your own gang now. They're like, oh, so it's going to be that situation where I have a gang, but I have to be the one to fucking do everything by myself. So it's almost kind of pointless having a gang in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a gang like every other, like Saints Row is a gang where you see your dudes on the street, you run up to them, you hit a button, and then they follow you around, and you could be like, kill those guys. And they'll be like, all right. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of. I mean, it's definitely not a bad game, and it's certainly better than Unity was last year, at least in my opinion.
Is it worth getting though? Would you recommend for me to buy it?
You know what, for you, because of what you've told me, I'd recommend that you wait until sometime next year when you can get it for like cheapsies, or it comes to PlayStation Plus, or if you could find it on sale on a winter sale, maybe for like the PC for $20 from Steam. Probably. I don't think that there's enough there that you're going to enjoy. If you're already this tired of the franchise, I don't think there's enough there that you're going to enjoy for a full $60. Like I wouldn't say buy that instead of
Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Which I am going to buy. That looks amazing, what I've seen.
Dude, Fallout 4 is a sneaky little bitch, because I forgot that, like, when this podcast goes up on Sunday, Fallout 4 will be like 24 hours away, like midnight, Monday night release, right? And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I'm still trying to finish Assassin's Creed so that I can finish Halo 5, so I can finish Call of Duty Black Ops 3 this Friday, so that I can play Fallout 4. And then at that point, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do, because there's a bunch of games that come out after Fallout 4. And it's not that I couldn't care less. It's not that I don't want to play Rise of the Tomb Raider, Nick. It's just that I want to play Fallout 4 more than everything else that's coming out for the rest of the year.
Those other games are for work. This one's actually for pleasure, basically.
Yeah. Just Cause 3, Rainbow Six, Xenoblade Chronicles, the StarCraft 2 expansion, Star Wars Battlefront. I mean, this may be, I don't think this should be a controversial statement, but like Fallout 4 is the thing that I'm looking forward to the most for the rest of the year. But anyway, well, I tell you what, we've got a bunch of news here, but before we get to the news, I did want to ask, because I didn't do jack shit. Maybe you did, Nick. Did you do anything for Halloween this year?
Yes, but I didn't do any Halloween related stuff. I went to go see the Rugby World Cup final between New Zealand and Australia, and it was awesome.
Do the rugby players? Did they all dress up like spooky ghosts and Frankenstein, and like Dracula and the group?
No. Like people either dressed up as wallabies or as kiwis or something like that for the fans, anyway.
Is it a kangaroo and a bird, respectively?
Yeah, the kiwi's like the national bird of New Zealand, and you got the wallaby for Australia. And then afterwards, after the final, when thankfully New Zealand won, yay! I went to go see SPECTRE with my brother, and what a piece of shit is all I'm going to say. Yeah, fuck that movie. I seriously hate it.
I haven't seen it. What was so wrong about it? What was so? I mean, man, that's a pretty. You're not like, I didn't enjoy it that much.
It's like the more I think about it, the more it like pisses me off. I mean, like, for example, has the most boring car chase I've ever seen in a movie, where he's driving his Aston Martin, the other guy's driving a Lamborghini, whatever it is, and they're chasing each other through Rome at nighttime, where it's empty. There are no pedestrians, there are no cars, and I think there's hardly any crashes. I think they bump into a bunch of parked mopeds that topple over. But really, they're just driving around in circles throughout the city. And I'm just thinking, this looks like a car commercial. Like, they could put some operatic music over it, like, Ave Maria. And then you could have, like, a Logan saying, Aston Martin, why settle for anything less? And then it would just cut. It was so excruciatingly boring, that movie.
Huh. And that was, I mean, the car chase was just one part of it. The entire, I mean, like, none of the action scenes felt kind of mundane. Like Daniel Craig says something really stupid, and then it cuts to boring sort of action scene. And I mean, like, the Monica Bellucci chick, the gorgeous Italian woman, like shall I say spoilers here, by the way? Oh, don't spoil it too much. I ain't seen it. I mean,
Okay. She's there just basically to get banged.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. In one scene. But, like, when he shags her, it's pretty close to rape, in a way. Because I could tell, if she's crying, then I don't think she's really into it, dude. So you should probably tuck your cock away and just step back. You can clearly tell that Daniel Craig has had enough with the series overall, because his motionless face, it doesn't crack any smile or anything like that throughout the movie. And if it is, it's more like a smirk. So it's only a tiny bit better than Quantum of Solace, and that's simply because of the beginning action scene in Mexico City, which is just fantastic.
Okay. Well, it's funny. I haven't been super into the new Bond since Casino Royale. Like, I thought Casino Royale was real fun, and I liked the kind of lo-fi version of it, but I didn't really care for Quantum of Solace all that much, and I liked Skyfall. Like, I thought Skyfall was pretty good. I thought it got a little, Dark Knight. It was kind of a shame that it came out around that same time, because it was like, oh, I'm Bond and I'm real old now, and I'm fucking old man Bond. But I tell you what, I did see though is I saw have you seen the Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
I saw the trailer for it. It looks pretty cool. I always thought that he'd make a great James Bond.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched that the other day. I thought it was a perfectly delightful movie. Like, it wasn't the most gripping. I wasn't just on the edge of my seat the entire time, like, but it was a fine little 60s spy movie. Henry Cavill is just the smoothest operator I've ever seen, and the fucking Army Hammer. That name just bugs me. Like, what the fuck?
Army Hammer.
Army Hammer, yeah. As the Russian guy, he was pretty good. Yeah, it was good. And I really like it's this lady in there who I keep getting her confused with. There's like 3 or 4 just kind of like really generic, like kind of like statuesque, very pretty white ladies that get confused in my head. January Jones is one of them, but there's this lady in that movie who was just diabolically evil and great at it. And so yeah, I maybe skip Spectre and watch Man from U.N.C.L.E. again. But I tell you what, Nick, we always get so far out of whack with the news. Let's go ahead and get this news show going, because we've got 2 stories before we even touch anything video game related. So technically, I think this is going to be still part of the opener here. So did you hear that? Oh, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. It's just, I got pins, I got needles, I'm scratching my face like a heroin addict already. Star Trek is coming back to television.
On CBS?
Yes.
Okay.
So have you not read this whole story?
I think I saw a tagline on Facebook, or more likely people getting pissed off there was CBS. Yeah,
okay, well, here's the things that people are pissed off about. So, okay, let's say January 2017, new Star Trek series, actual weekly series coming back to Quotey Fingers television. All right, 2 big problems that everybody is on. First is that apparently Alex Kurtzman is going to be the showrunner, I believe. Executive producer, who was the co-writer of Star Trek Into Darkness and the 2009 Star Trek, both the J.J. Abrams movies. He was like co-writer on that. So immediately everybody who hated those movies is like, oh, great, it's going to be action Star Trek, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can't tell one way or the other. I read one story that said that he was trying to find that he's going to be the executive producer, but he's trying to find writers to write for the show. So there's a good possibility that he's not going to be like the head writer. He's just going to be the showrunner. But I know a lot of people instantaneously are just like, eye roll, Alex Kurtzman, what a hack. He fucked Star Trek up.
I don't think there's going to be that much action, because it's different in a movie. In a television series, you got to pace it out because of the budget.
Yep. I think so too. I also think that, like, honestly, it's funny. It's interesting that people are so upset about that to me, because right now, TV is like action, movies are where big, dumb, stupid action is, and TV has been better produced, more well thought out, and just overall better as an experience for, I mean, I don't know. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. But all I can say is I'd much rather watch Game of Thrones than go to the movie theater and watch anything. I'd rather sit on my couch and watch Game of Thrones for an hour every week than, go see Spectre. I don't know.
I think it's different with Game of Thrones because that's already an established book series, whereas, I don't know, all these sci-fi TV shows, the budget actually kind of helps. So like, okay, we can't just use a bullshit action scene. We have to really think about this and how to keep the audience interested. Maybe we have to focus more on the writing, which I think is always the most important thing to do. I mean, like, the action should elevate the drama rather than the action being the centerpiece of what you're watching.
Yeah, yeah, and to be fair, for that particular complaint, I'm also a very big fan of not prejudging a thing. This is a year away, right? So let's wait to watch the first episode, and if it's just Kirk running real fast and Spock and Uhura making out, I mean, who knows? It's probably not even going to be. It's probably not going to be the Enterprise crew because they've got their own. There was also another news release that I was reading. I can't source this, but that said that that this is not related to the upcoming movie as well. So it's not going to be a tie-in. So hopefully, it's just going to be some other Star Trek. I mean, there's so much Star Trek universe to deal with, right? You've got the old stuff, you've got the Enterprise era, you got the new era. Plenty of stuff to look at. Personally, Nick, what I want is I want them to make a show that takes place somewhere else in the Federation during the Next Generation era, but I want it to be during the stuffy first season of Next Generation where all the uniforms looked really stupid and everybody was just like super uptight and they're supposed to have like dolphins on the ship to help them navigate through space. That's what I want. I want the dolphin ship just going through space.
I would love to see some more TNG stuff, but I think they're going to go back with a traditional 1960s, Star Trek series.
But the second problem here is that this is not going to. The first episode of this series is going to be on television. The rest you can only get by signing up for CBS's new on-demand streaming platform, CBS All Access.
That's I don't know, dude. That's not actually a bad idea because people are so worried about ratings, and this could be a better way to keep a show going. Like I don't know when Stargate was cancelled after the whole fiasco with MGM. It had nothing to do with the fans. The fans were really hardcore about that show, and I'm certain that if they brought it back and said you can watch this, but you have to subscribe for a year or something like that, that absolutely would have enough money to do that, and it would sway people off from pulling the plug too soon on a new series.
Maybe, but I also think that it's going to be. I mean, I think that. Who could say what the landscape is going to look like in January of 2017? I mean, who the fuck knows? Like,
yeah, I know, yeah, but I just don't think poo-poo on the idea. I mean, they definitely couldn't do this with a brand new television series. It has to be an established franchise for this to work.
No, I understand that. I guess I like it already goes like okay. Well, let me reform my thoughts here. Let's get together like Voltron and be clear. I don't have any interest in signing up for yet another fucking streaming service. I've got Netflix, I've got Hulu, I've got access to HBO Go. Like, I don't want another $7. Like, here's the thing, is that at a certain point, you might as well just put all this shit on cable and make me pay for cable. Like, the whole cord cutting thing. Well, okay, never mind. I guess there aren't commercials, but I don't know. I hate the idea of bringing back something like Star Trek that I really, really do want to see and then shoving it behind a paywall to the point where, I mean, Star Trek's a cultural phenomena. It's a thing that, like, you know, people... hell, my parents used to sit down and watch Star Trek with me on the weekends when TNG was on the air. And I just don't like the idea of gating access to that content behind it. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, what it comes down to is I hope that it's really fucking good. Because if it's really fucking good, then sure, I'll pay $7 a month when it's all out and go binge watch it and then cancel my subscription. Fine, whatever. But if it's only okay and they're going to force you to try to pay for this service to get it, and it takes a season for them to find their feet, the whole show could get axed because people are like, "Hey, you watch the new Star Trek?" And be like, "Yeah, it's not that good. Don't bother signing up for that stupid CBS thing. You don't care about anything else that's on CBS. Fuck it." So I guess that's kind of what I worry about is that I want the Trek out for everybody. I want Gene Roddenberry's original idea of everybody gets to watch Star Trek. That's not an actual thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the end of the day, I think this sort of paid subscription would be better if it was to revive a cancelled television show. I mean, like, how many people out there would pay $7 an episode or to watch to bring back Firefly, for example?
Sure, like absolutely.
People absolutely would be down for that. I can understand your reservation since it's a brand new series. It's the same franchise, but we don't know what it's about, basically. So
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. I'm actually looking at CBS's website right now to see if there's anything. Like, I don't fucking care. Oh, look, NCIS. I can get access to all of NCIS. I don't need
What
that.
is it about CBS that rubs people the wrong way?
I don't necessarily think it's anything to me about, I don't have any real strong feelings about CBS, and maybe that's what rubs me the wrong way, is that they're like, yeah, get access to Star Trek by signing up to CBS All Access. And it's like, the only reason I would sign up to CBS All Access is only to watch Star Trek. Like, there's nothing else on CBS that I have any interest in. I don't want to watch NCIS. I don't need to watch Survivor. I don't care about any of the other shows that's on CBS. All I would care about would be this one thing. And so that's kind of a kick in the pants where you're just like, all I want access to is Star Trek, but you're going to charge me and then give me all this other bullshit. But again,
do they get cold feet like Fox does? I mean, like every time a Fox releases a new television series, I'm like, I give it 2 seasons before they cancel this shit, or 1.
See, I don't have any. I don't have any fucking idea because I haven't had TV in a long time. Like I watch some stuff on Hulu, but that's the thing is that I have more of an not identity, but I have more of an allegiance to programs than I do to networks. I don't give a fuck about CBS or ABC or NBC or Fox or any of them. I care about the shows I want to watch, more than anything else.
Yeah, but you must have some preference over others. I mean, like HBO, as I think it's proven itself over the years many times.
Well, sure, yeah, HBO original programming, but not all of it. Like, the last 3 or 4 HBO shows, I haven't watched them, but I'm not super into them. I mean,
like what?
What was the one about that had Jack Black and Tim Robbins, The Brink? Then there was another one that had, I think, The Rock, that was about like signing up people for sports endorsements or something like that. I don't even know what that was called.
I swear to God, they just send over all the good stuff to the UK because I haven't heard any of these shows. I mean, when I think of HBO, I think about The Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire, Game of Thrones, like
right.
the really, really epic stuff.
Yeah,
Rome.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of other stuff on there as well. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just mesmerized. I finally found the place on CBS's website where you could see all the CBS shows, and I'm just like, don't care. 2 Broke Girls, Beverly Hills 90210, Big Brother, The Briefcase, CSI Cyber, CSI Miami, Elementary, Everybody Hates Chris, Flashpoint, Frasier, The Good Wife, Hawaii Five-0.
This sounds a lot like an awful channel in the UK called Channel 5, which just plays like the most mundane crap ever.
Jag, Medium, The Mentalist, like NCIS. I don't...
This is stuff my mother watches, okay? Shit.
Yeah. Anyway, 2.5 Men. Oh, good. The 2.5... Okay, anyway. Just going to spend too much time talking about Star Trek. Next up, hey, Jason Murphy, or anybody else. So, Nick, I don't know if you know about this, but there's a new Star Wars movie coming out.
Really? When?
Like in a month and a half.
Yeah, no.
I don't know why I said that to you, as if you actually didn't know instead of making a joke out of it.
You expect me to know all about Star Trek, but know about Star Wars? Like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, I figured you were a Trek guy. I don't know.
Fuck Star Trek, man. Star Wars all the way.
So here's the thing. Do you want to see Star Wars 2 days before it actually hits movie theaters? Do you live in New York, Los Angeles, or San Francisco and have a desire to go to Paris, France? Well, if the answer to both those things is yes, and you also, there's a third question about, do you have a lot of money to waste for some bullshit? Then there are 4 Air France flights that are leaving from San Francisco, Los Angeles, and 2 from New York on December 15th that are flying to Paris, at which point you will be picked up by a Star Wars-themed shuttle, taken to a theater, and shown a sneak preview on an actual goddamn movie theater of the new Star Wars movie before it comes out. So, fuck you, Air France. Because I don't have lots of money, and I do want to see the new Star Wars movie, but I find that to be just, it's ridiculous.
Well, how much is it though?
Oh, I don't know, probably like $1,000. Fucking December 15th. I don't know.
Wait. So this is not something like you have to win. It's not like a prize. You just pay $1,000 and you can go. I'm sure that can't be the case.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, last time I checked, flights from the U.S. to Europe were about $1,000.
Yeah,
but these are very specific flights for this very specific deal. I mean, it's only on December 15th, right? So you're going to be restricted to the day. It's not like you could. It was like, well, I want to go on December 17th and see it then, and it'd be like, no. You've got this one time, one day to do it. But it's such a strange thing. Of all the things that you could do to whip people into a frenzy to get them excited about seeing Star Wars a few days earlier, buying plane tickets just seems like, what is that? Is it a big stormtrooper airplane, or like is Darth Vader on the side of it, or
yes, he's a flight attendant telling you where to sit down and stuff.
Oh, that would be so awesome! Yeah. Darth Vader flight attendant just
actually no. You know what? He's the guy on the runway with the sticks, directing the plane. Except it'll be lightsabers instead.
Actually, I just think that they should just re-record all of the messages, all of the in-flight messages that they say to you in Darth Vader's voice, like, if you look out the left-hand side, you will see I don't know. I guess when you're flying from America to Europe, if you look at the left-hand side of your plane, you see water for like 6 hours, so it's not a big, not super interesting. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and I think I'm going to forward this article to Jason and rub it in his face a little bit, because he will go berserk psycho. It's funny, people have actually been asking me, they've been like, oh, Jeff, are you going to go see Star Wars the day it opens? And I'm like, no. I mean, I'd like to. Don't get me wrong, Nick. I'd like to. But I'm not going to play this game of buying a ticket to see the new Star Wars movie 6 months ahead of time when I could drive up to Waco or Round Rock 3 days after, on Christmas, like on the day of Christmas probably, and see it if there's a theater open. Because I've done that before. I'm going to go see a movie on Christmas Day. Nobody fucking goes. Just do whatever.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to. My family won't allow it. It's like, I can imagine saying, like, Nick, why are you so glum? This is meant to be Christmas time. It's like, I want to watch Star Wars. Come on, just open the presents already. I want to go.
Well, Nick, it doesn't come out on Christmas.
It doesn't come out. Oh, yeah, you're right. No, it comes out on Boxing Day. Sorry, my bad.
What's that? Is that one of those made-up British holidays? Is that the one where the guy blows
like
up? It's the guy. Is that where Anonymous tried to blow something up in Britain? Is that
no, it's not. It's kind of like your Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, it's just being made up in a sort of weird way. So, Boxing Day is just like a bank holiday, basically. So you've got like Christmas Eve, Christmas, and then Boxing Day. Those are the days of the year we absolutely have to have a holiday. Like, no questions asked, unless you work in a pub.
What day is Boxing Day?
On December 26th.
No. Nick,
yeah.
okay. Actually, you know what? I don't know. But all I'm seeing here is that the movie comes out December 18th in America.
What?
You tell you it comes out December 26th in the UK?
Okay, I'm Googling this right now.
Are you sure that you haven't just, are you sure you haven't mistaken it comes out this Christmas, that your brain isn't just like, it is out on Christmas?
I mean, what a hell of a Christmas present, I'd say. Let's see. The UK, it comes out... Oh, my bad. Yeah. No, it's not. Fucking hell. I swear it's coming out on Boxing Day. I keep seeing that somewhere. I could be probably mistaken, I guess. No, you're absolutely right. It comes out December 18th.
Okay.
December 18th. I have no idea why I thought Boxing Day. Okay, awesome.
Hey, guess what? I got you a present, Nick. Star Wars is out like 8 days before you thought it was going to be.
This is fantastic, dude.
You don't even have to buy a French airline ticket or anything.
No. I mean, I definitely won't see it on the opening day, simply because I don't want to have to deal with all the packed crowds and stuff like that. I mean, I could just wait an extra day, and plus I could see the reviews and see if it's actually worth going out to watch. I mean, like, we've been duped before, 3 times. So, the movie has to prove herself to me.
I think that anybody that was duped, quotey fingers, by episode 3 deserved all of the duping that they got. Like, if after the first 2 you weren't at least a little bit skeptical about 3, then that's on you, my friend. Not
why did it return on its investment? Why did it make so much money? I think it's just like that Red Letter Media review saying, like, you know what, I've been fucked over twice before, let's just get this over with so we can put an end to this dark chapter in Star Wars history. Because I'm curious to see how worse it could get.
Well, I tell you what, the fate of all the trailers for Star Wars look pretty good, but I'll tell you what, I got another teaser trailer here today. It looks pretty good. Now, by the time that this podcast comes out, the full trailer will be out for Warcraft, the Duncan Jones movie based on the Warcraft property. So right now we have a 15-second teaser trailer. I don't know, Nick. This is looking pretty hot, man. Like,
really, this tells me absolutely nothing. I know it's supposed to be a teaser, but
it's a tease. You're being teased.
It's a tease, but like, yet again, we've been duped many times by video game movies. I hope that this is like the first one that turns the tide to make video games movies to be good as comic book movies. But I mean, this looks just like another CGI heavy Chronicles of Narnia type movie.
Yeah, maybe. I'm holding out that old Duncan Jones will come through, because I think he's a good director. This has been in production for a long time. I mean, they've obviously spent a pretty fair amount of money on this. Warcraft is, I mean, I think that even the stupids who don't know anything about video games know that, like, they know what the words World of Warcraft mean when you put them together. It means dollar signs and shitloads of them. So, I don't know, man. Like, the main thing I think that I'm getting out of this trailer that I think is really interesting is that if you look at the way the orcs look, I mean, even just there's some like real brief silhouettes. I'm just stopping and starting the trailer over and over to look at these things. But if you look at like the way the armor looks, the way that the kingdom looks, and the way that the colors are, and like there's this one shot where you can see some knights and you can see this guy in like wizard robes, it all looks a hell of a lot like Warcraft. Like. Yeah. It's not like, well, we took the idea of Warcraft and then reimagined it as a 1920s gangster film because that's what we feel like people really want. It wasn't any of that bullshit, any of that stupid horse shit.
I'll give it credit. It does look like the game. And also give it credit because, like, the star of the movie is Ragnar Lothbrok from Vikings. So and he's pretty badass. So, you know.
I don't know who that is. I haven't seen Vikings, but...
you should watch it. It's like Game of Thrones light.
Wait, go back. What was the end of that sentence where you call yourself, I'm just curious to know what the end of that. A fan of Vikings? I've never called myself that before, Nick.
No, I nearly made a mistake, but basically for me, like, if you like Game of Thrones, then you should like Vikings. It's pretty much the same sort of scenario.
Okay. Check it out. But yeah, I mean, in this trailer, we see a bunch of orcs. We see like guy riding like an eagle, which is a thing I guess it happens to see. Like, I was just kind of excited when I saw there's one shot where you see a guy with a gun, like one of the, because it's one of the units in Warcraft, right? It's little dwarven musket dudes. So I don't know, man. I'm with you on the fact that this teaser, and again, by the time this podcast comes out, there's going to be a full-on trailer, which we're all just going to be like, so it's crap. Oh, well, okay, all right.
I mean, yeah, it's absolutely premature for us to say anything, but I'm not holding my breath.
It looks like it could be good. It's not immediately setting off my crap detector. Like, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, like, remember when Dungeons and Dragons had Jeremy Irons in it? And Jeremy Irons is a great actor. Didn't it have Ben Kingsley in it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So.
Yeah.
Win me over with the trailer's tone, okay?
No, I know. But then it also, was it one of the main characters in that Wayans brother? Wasn't it Marlon Wayans was like the goofy sidekick?
I kind of doubt that they showed him in the trailer, I'm sure they just focused on Jeremy Irons.
I'd be willing to bet that if you went back and pulled up the trailer for Dungeons & Dragons, that there's probably a fair amount of like, look everybody, it's pal Marlon Wayans, you all love him, look how crazy he is, But anyway, we don't have time for that because we got already. Yeah. Hey, everybody, say it with me now. We're way behind. We need to speed up. Thank you very much, audience. So, hey, guess what happened last week, Nick?
What?
Activision bought King. Do you know who King is?
That's the company that does Candy Crush games.
Yup. $5.9 billion.
What the fuck?
5.9
Disney bought Star Wars for like $4 billion or something.
Oh, dude, do you not know how much money Candy Crush makes? Like, I won't even touch that shit. It's like it would be like if Procter and Gamble. It would be, you know what? It would be like, you know what the equivalent of this is to me? Is it's like, hey everybody, today Burger King bought exclusive rights to heroin for $5.9 billion, and it'd be like, oh shit, does that mean they're gonna serve heroin at fucking Burger King now because I will get hooked on heroin.
Well, wait, you're saying Candy Crush makes more money than Star Wars?
No.
Or more Marvel Comics?
No, I'm not saying that, but what I will say is that I'd be willing to bet that Candy Crush has a significantly lower overhead than either of those other two things that you listed out, and yet makes just gajillions of zillions of bucks.
Wait, didn't Activision go bust a while back? Because that's why a bunch of games were cancelled.
No,
like the Guitar Hero series,
no.
That Kung Fu Fight True Lies, and then they changed it to Sleeping Dogs. Wasn't that an Activision game?
I don't think those were canceled because... so I could tell you that Guitar Hero was canceled because the sales have started flagging, so that it's not like... that. I don't think that they actually canceled... If I remember correctly, I don't think that they actually canceled a Guitar Hero game. They just cut the franchise off because they were like, we're not getting enough money from selling these. We aren't selling enough units of Guitar Hero. For the True Lies one, I always got the impression that was a... True Crime, right? It was one of the
True Crimes, not True Lies.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember there being a Jamie Lee Curtis game, but I got the impression that game was very troubled and bopped between a couple different studios, and then they were like, you know what, fuck it, this costs too much money, it's not ever going to make that much back, so just cancel it. But
they fucking spend $5 billion on fucking Candy Crush.
Well, the other thing, Nick, continue to remember, is that Activision is not just Activision. Activision is Activision-Blizzard, right? So Activision's got that sick Destiny money, and Blizzard brought in something along the lines of like $5 billion in the last year from just Hearthstone. From just the Hearthstone game that they have out, and people buying cards and expansions and things like that to it. So yeah, and this is actually interesting because when you dig down into this, it looks like what Blizzard is trying, or what Activision's trying to do here, is that instead of Activision trying and unsuccessfully failing, as most of these companies do, to launch like a mobile gaming division, they're like, fuck it. Just go buy the best the most profitable mobile game that exists, and then we're just going to start. You know what it's a lot like? It's a lot like when Microsoft bought Minecraft. It's just a money machine that they can afford to get to make money for them now instead of make money for somebody else. As I see it, they're not expected to change a lot of the, if I was reading this correctly, they're not expected to change a lot of the infrastructure for King. They're just kind of going to absorb them and then use their expertise to help them with their mobile development. It's kind of like Satan buying Lucifer, though,
Yeah. What does this world come to, really?
Well, it's easy. You don't play Candy Crush Saga. Don't ever spend any money on Candy Crush Saga. I don't care how much you want whatever it is that I've never played it. The marshmallow unicorn dicks or whatever it is that happens at Candy Crush. It's don't play it. Play for realsies games that are not Candy Crush.
It's just so retarded because Disney makes a lot of sense because they've been around since forever, and they buy Marvel and they buy Star Wars. There's so much you could do with just on those two franchises alone. You're limited by King, which just makes these shitty little games that for some reason are very popular with housewives. They've just got some time to kill, and some reason they get addicted to this game.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't think that you. I'm trying to look stuff up here real fast. I don't know if you understand though how much profit Candy Crush makes and continues to. Well, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's not. But Candy Crush got it figured out with that you can get people hooked on this game and then keep them dumping $5 at a time in while they're standing in line at the bank to continue playing stupid Candy Crush. So I
doubt there's going to be a 40th anniversary of bloody Candy Crush. That's one thing I'm pretty sure of.
No, but I think that I think that what a lot of times we end up thinking about these things the wrong way. Like, Skylanders, right? Skylanders franchise. You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
No.
I think it's Activision actually makes. Is it Activision or is it Ubisoft? Is it EA? God, who the fuck makes Sky? I'm gonna look it up. Anyway, there's a franchise out there called Skylanders. Skylanders is you buy the Skylanders video game. Activision, yeah, Activision makes Skylanders. You buy the Skylanders video game, and it comes with this little portal of power, right? And then you get these little toys, and you put the toy on the portal of power, and then the toy shows up in your game, and you level up your toy, and then it actually writes that level up information to your toy, so you take it to your friend's house, you put on his portal of power, you can play with him on his thing. These games make phenomenal amounts of money. The figures alone cost like $8, right? And there's a zillion of them, and kids want them all. They want all of them. And so I feel like a lot of times when we talk about like things that make a shitload of money, we don't think about Skylanders because Skylanders is just some shitty kids game. But Skylanders makes a shitload of money. The same is true of Candy Crush. Candy Crush is probably, for most of us that don't play it, just some shitty mobile game. But it's also just a cash machine. It's a shrewdly created machine to separate you from your $5 microtransaction. And it makes just god-awful amounts of money. And if Activision can take that company, they can take King and have King basically build them the same kind of little addictive Skinner box microtransaction machine for a bunch of their other games, I think that's a really smart move financially. Now,
right.
again,
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's worth $5 billion. I think that's ridiculous.
I think it is, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. In any case, Activision just got a little bit more evil, but at least they'll keep King from trying to sue people like they were trying to do earlier this year. Well, I tell you what, speaking of the number 5 and words that rhyme with Illion, Konami shipped 5 million copies of Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. The half-year briefing, they came out and basically said that they have shipped 5 million copies of Metal Gear Solid 5. This is both digitally... this is inclusive of digitally sold copies as well as physical copies that have been sent to the store. There's also a bunch of numbers here, and I can't tell whether they're talking in this article about specifically just the Konami like games division or if this is Konami in general. But their corporate-wide operating profits doubled from this point last year. So whatever else you may have to say about Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, it is making Konami a shitload of money. Now, unfortunately, I have a feeling that most of that's just going to go back into making more health clubs or pachinko machines or fucking PES or whatever it is. But it's selling very, very well. And yeah, I don't know. It's always also such a weird thing, Nick, when you talk about copies shipped as opposed to copies sold, right? Is you don't know how many actual copies of the game are out there in people's hands.
Yeah, because it always sounds like it's way less. It's like 5 million. I was like, really? Just that much? Mm-hmm. Throughout the entire world? I'm like, okay. Considering how many people I know play video games and bought a copy.
Well, if you talk about 5 million copies at $60 a pop, what is that?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, I thought that there'd be more video gamers, out there.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than just 5 million people between the United States, Canada, Western Europe, and, Japan,
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty solid. I mean, that's a pretty solid sales figure when you look at it. I don't know. I wonder, though, in the face of this amount of profit, how long it's going to be before Konami's like, hey, everybody, we're making a new Castlevania game. So I know how we said we're not making video games, but $5 million or 5 million copies, that's a lot of copies. So, or if they're just on the phone, if they're just like leaving needy voice messages with Hideo Kojima at this point, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, baby. I didn't mean to treat you bad. Come on, I'll put your name back on the box. Come on back. Come on.
Kojima, come on. Let me in.
Make another one. Please. It's one more. Just one more. That'll be the last one. After this one, you can retire. I swear to God, you can retire. But you know what? I don't get that. I don't get that impression because they also officially are closing the Kojima Productions LA studio very soon. So apparently that studio was mainly set up to handle Metal Gear, considering Konami has only one game franchise left and they're probably going to be developing it internally in Japan. They shuttered that down. So that sucks because I know that Kojima LA was established in 2013, and to me always seemed like a good idea. So it kind of sucks that they're closing that out. Pour one out for another closed game development studio. Apparently 5 million units ain't enough to fucking, I don't know, get those guys to make a mobile game for you. Get them to make Candy Crush Snake, solid candy Snake.
Wow. Even gaming news is depressing these days. Jesus. Might as well just turn on the BBC, to hear what's going on in Syria.
Oh, man. I tried listening to the BBC podcast because I shut off all my social media. I was like, I need to get my news from somewhere. So I listened to the BBC podcast, the daily news roundup thing they have. I don't know if I want to know what's happening in the world, Nick. It's just like, oh, God.
I love you use the BBC as a fallback. I was like, well, he has a British accent. He must know what he's talking about.
I know there's a part of me that thinks that. I know there's a part of me that's listening to all these people with their British accents like, no, that seems real smart, man. Seems real smart. Seems like he knows what he's talking about. Well, I tell you, this has been some downer news. Let's cheer things up a little bit, all right?
All right.
Let's cheer things up. Let's get happy. Let's get psyched. And let's get spooky because there's a new Five Nights at Freddy's World teaser trailer. Except it's not spooky at all. It's just some like fucking weird Super Mario RPG Final Fantasy for babies thing.
Jeff, you lied. This is another fucking cash grab story. Jesus Christ, man.
What?
Move on.
You think it's a cash grab? I mean, okay, so yeah, here's the thing, Nick. Maybe the thing that I love more than anything about this is, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't watched this Five Nights at Freddy's World trailer, I highly encourage you to do so. But what I encourage you to do more than that is go to the YouTube page where this trailer has been aired and scroll down to the comments and then just get one of those little mirror fold-out things and bask in the butthurt. Oh, my Lord. It's so powerful because everybody's just like, well, Five Nights at Freddy's is destroyed forever. Oh, fuck you, Scott. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This is a piece of shit. Well, I guess it's all over now. Everything is stupid and fucked up. Even though, like, the dude came out several months ago and said, like, I'm making another one of these games. It's not going to be a horror game. It's called Five Nights at Freddy's World. And everybody was like, yay. And then this actually comes out and everybody's like, boo. But it's very surreal. And it may be hard for anybody who's not familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's to understand that in this trailer, it's like you've got a bunch of the Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics on one side and then like some other animatronics on the other side. And they're having like Final Fantasy fights. But like sometimes the animatronics on the right side are like Bonnie and Chica, and they look like the happy-go-lucky animatronics. And sometimes they're the fucked up, rotted out, like crazy murder animals, or ghosts of slain children, or weird, fucked up, like mutants. And honestly, I have no idea what the hell is going on here. I can't imagine, Nick, that this is just a 6-hour-long RPG. It's got to have some kind of... I mean, dude's put a hidden story in pretty much every single game that he's put out, right? Every one of these.
But I think the other games, they were sort of just pick up and play sort of games. They weren't... I mean, like, they weren't really in-depth, and you could just casually play it, and then be one of those twits who records himself and puts himself on YouTube, his reactions and all of that. But I know, like, this... I'm not seeing how it could have the same sort of success.
What I think that it's going to be is I think that it's going to be I honestly believe that it's going to be, and I haven't read anything, I've just watched a trailer, so I don't know if there's already been like a 16-page interview where dude's like, oh yeah, this is going to be this, and this. I'm also, Nick, it's not outside of the realm of possibility for by the time that this podcast goes up for this game to already be out, already fully beaten, and all of the secret juice squeezed out of it. Because Scott Cawthorne will put out a trailer for Five Nights at Freddy, and then like 3 days later put out the new Five Nights at Freddy's game. So I need to go check and make sure it's not already out right now that we're recording. But I have a feeling it's going to be this lightweight RPG on top, and that there's going to be a whole bunch of hidden, really, really, really fucked up subtext that goes back into his little murder story. But I don't know. I mean, like the dude's been making. Not the same because I'm not gonna not going to sit here like an asshole and be like, all the Five Nights games are exactly the same. I know they're not the same. There's a bunch of different stuff. Like some of them have more jump scares, some have different types of jump scares. But I think that the guy has made 4 jump scare horror game simulators. If he wants to make a cutesy-ass JRPG, fuck you, internet people. Just let him make it. Don't buy it if you don't want to play it. Like, I just hate the idea that because people are fans of Five Nights at Freddy's, that they feel like they have some agency over the type of game that this guy gets to make. That they could just they could just bully him into continuing to make. It's kind of the same way I feel about Kojima, right? Is I want Kojima to be able to make whatever fucking kind of game he wants to.
No one's saying that. I mean, like, if this was a totally new property, then I don't think people would be complaining as much.
Yeah.
But I know if there is some expectation when you use the same franchise and characters.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish you well, Scott Cawthorn. I might play this one more than for 10 minutes because it's not just a bunch of jump scare, just stuff up in your face.
And that's because he's being nice, so yeah.
Are you talking about me or him? Or Scott Cawthorn?
You.
Oh, me?
It sounded like so sweet. Like, don't worry, mate, I'm going to play your game.
I'll play your game. Yeah,
I'm sure that it's making him feel like really happy to hear you say
Scott Cawthorn is a huge fan of Rage Select. I know that you know this, Nick. Him and I are pen pals. No, that's not true. I don't know the guy at all. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. All right, time for the ultra fast forward button because everybody say it with me today. We're running very long. All right, good. So you know how Arkham Knight was a total just garbage dump on the PC, Nick?
Yes.
Okay. You remember how they were going to fix it and they were going to re-release it in October?
Yes.
Okay, you know how they re-released it in October?
No.
Okay, well, they did. And let me give you a multiple choice test. True or false, the game still has a whole bunch of performance problems.
True.
You are correct. It is still having problems. And so Warner Brothers Interactive has come out to the people on Steam and basically said that at this point and until the end of 2015, if you bought Arkham Knight or the Season Pass or any of this stuff on Steam, regardless of how much you played the game, you were able to basically request a full refund for the game on the PC.
Oh, that's good.
That's like that. I am shocked that this has gone on as long as it has. That like people are still having problems with it. That this is one of their huge tentpole franchise releases. That it's the end of the Rocksteady Batman trilogy, and that I feel real bad for you PC Master Race folks right now because. Like, I know that it'd be a real shitstorm if it was just like, well, it's totally broken and you only have one platform to play it on. But at least Warner is stepping up and doing the right thing and being like, hey, do you want your money back? Take your money back. Especially because I'd be willing to bet you can probably get your money back now and then wait for a Steam winter sale and probably buy it for cheaper.
No, but why would you, though, if it still has a host of problems that's, not even playable after a certain level?
You never know whether they're going to end up fixing it or not. Sometimes, like a lot of the Bethesda games, like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, have problems when they originally come out, and it'll take the company like 6 months or 8 months to hot patch a bunch of stuff and finally fix it. Like, it's entirely possible that by mid next year that Arkham Knight PC, they might release an Arkham Knight like PC Master Race Edition where they've finally gone back in and gotten everything fixed. Because, I mean, I'll be honest, like cutting off because we don't have sales figures from Steam, we can't tell, but cutting off all of the PC Steam users who want to play Arkham Knight from your franchise, that's a pretty significant user base, to the point where if you could get it fixed and like guarantee people that it was running well in, say, January when nothing else was coming out, you'd be like, yo man, check it out, here's the better version, it's $60 and it comes with all the DLC, boom, there it is, pick it up. It wouldn't be great, but it would be better than, we'll never know how many people actually return it, but let's say that 30% of the people that bought Arkham Knight on the PC return it, you want those 30% back. So it'd be in your best interest to try to get them back at some point.
Well, I think it's very big of them to even offer the refund in the first place. They could have just screwed them.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I thought it was big of them to take it down off of Steam, to delist it, and I think it's good for them to do the right thing and give people the opportunity to get their money back if they want it. I think that all games should have the ability to get your money back. If you're I almost feel like maybe there should be something where they just hook the achievement system of the game to your ability to get a refund, where like if you've gotten over 50% of the game achievements or whatever, then it's like, no. You played like this is like eating like 2/3 of a steak and being like, yeah, the steak wasn't any good. Bring me another steak. Speaking of red meat, that's not a good transition. I don't have a good one.
No, it's not.
The Call of Duty is supposedly Black Ops 3 is supposedly getting ready to start giving users the ability on the PC to mod the game in 2016. Apparently, they're going to have a closed alpha in March of 2016 where they're going to give people the ability to go in and start experimenting with custom maps, custom game modes, things like that. I think that's great. Like, mod communities, I'll never forget like the Star Wars mod for Battlefield 1942 that lets you fly around in a like a TIE fighter, X-Wing or whatever. And I think the mod community for video games actually really helps to extend the lifespan. Do you ever do any mods, Nick? I mean, I know you have a PC that could probably play certain mod of games.
Only very few games. I think I did Armor. I think that's really about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. I mean, like, I was playing a game called Operation Flashpoint for like 10 years after the game came out, just because of the mods that were available at the time.
Yeah. I mean, hell, there was a guy in Skyrim who created like a whole new island with a whole new quest set and it's basically his resume. Like, he was a modder that sat down and created a whole new area for Skyrim in a free mod, and that was like his, he's like, hey, give me a job. Look what I can do.
Hope he got it, though.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, I mean, maybe there'll be some new game modes for Black Ops on the PC that'll be more in line with kind of the way that I like to play shooters. You don't play any Black Ops, or you don't play any Call of Duty multiplayer, do you, Nick?
No, not at all.
Well, guess what? I'll tell you who does play multiplayer. I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to start moving on to the next story. Destiny. So apparently, like on the PlayStation Network right now, Destiny microtransactions are like the top selling thing. This is just kind of an FYI story. Do you know about these? About what these are for, Nick? Were you on when we went over these?
We spoke about it before, but
or it's just custom emotes, like custom, like some cosmetic things and like dances that you could do.
Oh yeah. I remember saying I didn't think it was like that big of a deal. As long as it's nothing absolutely necessary for the game, like story-based missions and stuff like that. If it's just cosmetic stuff, then it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I agree. As long as it doesn't filter into gameplay, I think it's fine. I also think that it's interesting that people are spending this much real money on the ability to dance and wave or do some other shit in Destiny, because I was fine with sit down, point, wave, and the dance that they gave me by default. So unfortunately, I have some good news and I've got some bad news. Which one would you like first, Nick? Good news or bad news?
Hit me with a bad. You've been hitting me with a bad all day. I just want to get it over with, and see that there's some hope at the end of the light. Okay, stop abusing me. Seriously.
I don't make the news. I just read the news.
I just report the news, okay? Don't shoot the messenger.
That's right. Hey, you know what? Batman Arkham Knight refunds being, or let's say Five Nights at Freddy's World is way less depressing than most of what I read on the BBC's news website, all right?
That's true, yeah.
Okay, so apparently, the new Mirror's Edge game is supposed to be out February 23rd of next year. Apparently, they're delaying it until May 24th because of just video games are delayed constantly all the time for, whatever. It's the standard, like, we want to use these extra months to help you make sure that your massive step is experienced. It's an entertaining and impressive and memorable. So, bloggity blue. I'm having a real hard time. I mean, like, I like Mirror's Edge, but I'm having a difficult time at this moment. I need to get past Fallout. Not Fallout 4. I need to get to 2016, Nick. Is right now we're just in this glut of like video game just washing over me. There's just video games constantly washing over me, like standing under a waterfall doing kung fu training. And I need to get to like the desert where I have no video games. And then it's like, is that Mirror's Edge? Oh God, give it to me, Mirror's Edge! Finally a game. Because right now I'm having a hard time really mustering up any real compunction for Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I don't know. What do you think about the Mirror's Edge franchise?
I love the first one. I thought it was so good. And the way it looked and it felt and played, it was just different than anything else out at the moment, at the time. So I'm definitely interested in playing the second one, because there was a long time that they were talking about possibly doing it, but I thought it was like a dead franchise. So hearing that it's coming back is pretty cool. But I don't know. I mean, like, apart from Call of Duty, Fallout 4, like, are there any other big games that are coming out right now?
Let's see. What were the ones that you listed?
Fallout 4 and
Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Let's see. Yep, you got the new Rainbow Six is coming out. Just Cause 3 is coming out. Star Wars Battlefront and StarCraft 2. Legacy of the Void. It just depends on whether you're a StarCraft 2 fan, right? The third of the StarCraft 2 franchise is finally coming out this year. Rise of the Tomb Raider still left to come out this year. And then there's some other games that probably aren't interesting to you at all because you don't have a Wii U, right? Mario Tennis, Xenoblade Chronicles,
Uncharted 4, that's coming out.
No, that's next year.
That's next year. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, apart from maybe additionally Battlefront, like there aren't that many games that are gripping me. Like Uncharted 4 is the next big game, but I definitely want to pick up Mirror's Edge 2. Wait. Scratch that. I'll wait for the reviews to come out first, and then I'll buy it. It's not going to be something I pick up on day one. I like it, but I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah. Those words mean nothing to me because I don't wait for the reviews.
I tell you what, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for your review.
You've been waiting for a long time. All right. Well, we got two more stories, and we're going to go ahead and take a break. So, have you ever heard of a game series, Nick, that is called 999, I believe? It's a DS game called 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors.
Nintendo DS?
Yes.
Yeah, then no.
I think that, okay, so I have a mild idea that this is a really interesting, it's called, okay, so the first one was what? Virtue's Last Reward? Was that the first one? It's a visual novel. It's a direct sequel. Okay, so the first one was 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, 999. That was a Nintendo DS game. And then Virtue's Last Reward was a 3DS game. And these are like visual novels on the DS and the 3DS that are supposed to be... they've got some really strange mechanics and interesting... everybody speaks very highly of them, right? Like if I had a modded 3DS or something where I could take video of them, I totally would have played them by now. I kind of want to play the first one on the DS, but I also don't really want to actually get my DS out. But apparently Zero Escape 3 has been announced. It's called Zero Time Dilemma, and it's got a piece of art that's got this guy strapped to a chair with a gun pointed at his head. So fans of this franchise can rejoice because there's going to be another one of these. I'm wondering, though, if this is going to be Vita and 3DS. Yep. So it's going to be a Vita and 3DS game. I kind of wish they would put these things all together on a disc and then put them out for the PS4 or I don't know, PC or something so that I could get access to them. They're supposed to be really, really super awesome games. I just haven't had a chance to really play them. So the announcement of a third one, figure, you know what. And last but certainly not least, last week we had a story about how there is some Fallout brand beer, right? There's Carlsberg over there in your neck of the woods is making Fallout beer. And when we talked about that story, Nick, I was talking with Jason, and I was like, this is the most generic, stupid thing. It just is the word Fallout on a beer bottle. Looks like garbage. What they should do is they should make Nuka-Cola instead. They should even just make alcoholic Nuka-Cola, like Nuka beer, right? But call it Nuka-Cola, put it in a brown bottle, make it look like a Nuka-Cola. Great. And to which a whole bunch of people came into the comments, or, well, I don't know, like 2 people came. 2 was a whole bunch for me, Nick, but people came into the comments, and they were like, oh, but they are making Nuka-Cola, and they are. Jones Soda Company here in the United States that makes all kinds of like crazy flavored sodas is making Nuka-Cola, and it's going to be at Target. But there is one catch. It's not regular Nuka-Cola. It's dumb Nuka-Cola Quantum. And so fuck a bunch of that, because Nuka-Cola Quantum tastes gross. Or I imagine it does. The bottles look like they taste gross in Fallout.
Why is it bothering you so much? This is the same shit they pulled in the 90s or 80s with the Nintendo cereal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I just Fallout, man, it's a thing, and can I just like get some Nuka-Cola, like regular, not the hot blue stuff, just like the regular old soda that looks like what it looks like in the game, and I can have the bottle caps, and I could try to buy stuff off my friends, and they could be like, "That's not real money." I could be like, Fallout said so. Then they'll be like, "Shut up, Jeff, you're drunk," and then that's the end of the story because I don't have any more. If you're gonna go to all the trouble of putting out of making a fake soda from a video game, why not make the original fake soda and save Quantum for next year? Because I don't know. So anyway, do you have any interest in drinking Fallout soda, Nick?
If someone has it in the house, I'll drink it, but I certainly won't go out and buy it.
Have you ever purchased like some kind of novelty? Like, I know that for a while there, Square was selling like an energy drink that was potion from Final Fantasy. Or did you ever go get those Diamond Dogs we were talking about before?
No, certainly not. I've thought about it, but no. I mean, it would have to be for a franchise I absolutely loved. I mean, like, one of the things I always thought about is, like, you remember how cool the nightclubs looked in Mass Effect?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be so cool if they had a club like that, with hot chicks dressed up as Sari walking around and serving drinks. That would be brilliant. I'll be there in a flash. But
they give you that weird like strange bottle that they open up for you to drink. That's like a
and it's like it's not like a fluorescent lights in it. It's like, would you want to have the green one or the purple one? It's like, I'll have one shot of purple and he'll have a bottle of green. It's like, sweet.
Well, I know. I mean, that's why I'm asking, is because I know that there are places. I mean, I've seen posts online before about like bars that'll serve like a video game themed selection of cocktails. They'll be like, here's the Luigi and here's the Mario and here's the Prince, or sometimes you'll see places like the whole Diamond Dogs thing that we talked about that one time, where places will serve like a food. They'll have like a selection of food that's kind of video game based. I don't think I've ever actually had a consumable from a video game before, like a food or a drink. I don't think I've ever actually had one, which is why I was asking.
You never had Nintendo cereal?
Yeah, I had that. That was okay. Yes, I did have that, but that was bad cereal, Nick. That's a problem with Nintendo.
That's what I'm
cereal.
talking about. Most of the time, it is. I mean, like the thing with my Mass Effect idea is that it's social. You can go with a mate and have some fun with it. Buying some, a drink based off a video game is just, quite lame, I gotta say.
Well, no, what you do is you buy the drink and then you turn on the camera for your web show, and then you drink it, and then you review the drink, and then you tell people how good or how bad it is, and bada bing, bada boom. You get 10 million hits on YouTube or something. I don't know how YouTube works. I run Rage Select. I don't know how YouTube works, all right?
You have a YouTube channel, dude.
Yeah,
seriously.
it's got 1,600 videos on it. I don't fucking know what I'm doing here. It's just I just keep uploading shit to the YouTube channel, and then it keeps going, all right, that shit's got uploaded. So anyway, let's move away from the part that I don't know anything about, which is food, drinks, YouTube, and life in general, and move to the part that I do know about, which is answering your crazy questions about all the things that have to do with life and death and etc. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to read all of the spam in my inbox out loud, one at a time. And trust me, this is going to take a while, so you better come back because I'm not doing this shit for free. So stay tuned. We'll be back momentarily. And we're back. Yes, we're back, Nick. We're back, and we're back to the place where the people, they could request the knowledge. They could squeeze the frontal cortex of Rage Select and get all of the juicy, delicious knowledge out into a cup. That's a gross metaphor of squeezing a brain, like brain juice for breakfast. But yes, in any case, this is the part of the show where we answer the questions. mail@rageselect.com is the email address. And our first question comes in from Alex. And Alex says, "Hey, Jeff and Nick, praise the dongs and all that. You guys have been talking about GameStop recently, and I live in Australia, and here GameStop is known as EB Games, I believe. Same stuff, pushy staff, game insurance, pre-orders, generally bad experience. Recently, there was a huge scandal, and employees from EB Games came forward and told news outlets that their jobs are very unstable, and they're required to work for free for half of their hours and volunteer their time. You can imagine younger people thinking, this is a dream job, but it's really not. And they hold that status of dream job over their heads and tell them they can be replaced in an instant if they don't volunteer their time. Also claims of managers sexually abusing staff and huge amounts of racism from one manager that runs a large amount of EB stores.
Did she say she was Australian?
Well, I don't know. This is from Alex. I don't know if this is a lady or a gentleman.
Okay.
But this is all in Australia, or apparently.
Wow. Okay.
So to continue, they also don't have a human resources department. If they do have any issue, there's a phone number they can call and leave a message about the potential assault or whatever, and then nothing ever happens from there. Anyway, it's all horrible. Do you think anything like that is happening at GameStops in the U.S.? Also, what's your opinion on all this horrendous stuff happening here at EB Games? Alex. Before we start talking about this, Nick, I want to be perfectly clear here. One, I don't know anything about Australian racist sexual assault GameStops. And number two, I think I've been on a few shows recently where I've said I've actually been doing a little bit more shopping at the GameStop over by my house, and the people there are smart enough that they know I don't want game insurance or their stupid magazine or to pre-order anything. So I just go in and say to the dude, "Give me Rock Band," and he's like, "Here you go." And I give him my credit card and walk out without any other stuff. I mean, sometimes I can actually even talk to the guy in there about games. So it's kind of like the way that I thought GameStop should have been back in the good old days.
It's probably because you're a recurring customer. You buy loads of games, so you're always in there. Do they still try to flog on the strategy guide?
No.
That's gone. Thank God.
See, the thing is that I don't know anymore because since I go to the same place and I go there, I'm pretty sure... one of the people that worked there before actually knew that I ran a website, and this new guy that's there, I think that he knows because I think that he can tell because I come in there every Tuesday and I have no pattern. I'll be like, "Yeah, give me Mario Tennis and Battlefield," and he's like, "All right." And then I'll come in the next week. I'll be like, "I need Madden, Assassin's Creed, and give me that JRPG." And he'll be like, "Okay." I'm not. I'm obviously just coming in and buying whatever new games come out every week, which is not your typical guy that has been coming in waiting for Call of Duty. I don't have a type of game that I'm buying. I'm just going in there and buying whatever the fuck comes out. I'm like Skylanders, Legos Dimensions, Guitar Hero and Rock Band, Call of Duty and Battlefield, the new Assassin's Creed. Just put it all in my mouth. Just give me all of the games, and I want them all. So just to be clear, yeah, I've backed up a little bit on that because it seems like GameStop has maybe backed up a little bit on that in the United States. I know Jason still gets a little upset, but I find that going to the same place every single week and pulling out my corporate credit card that they're just like, yeah, just give that guy whatever. Don't bother trying to upsell him on stupid shit.
Well, from what Alex is saying, I don't think you and I have anything to bitch about if it's this shop is so bad.
Well, one of the funny things about GameStop is that, and I don't know if it's still this way. I mean, I haven't been reading stories recently to know if they've taken if they've gotten a big hit taken out of them by digital only games and sales and stuff like that. But GameStop makes most of their money on game consignment, right? They buy the games from you for $2. They buy your used games for $2 a piece, and they sell them back to people for $15 a piece. Right? They mark them up by a huge amount. I know that in the worst parts of GameStop, that there were stories here in the United States of they would only pay you with this weird locked-in prepaid credit card nonsense. And that there was a lot of turnover, and that people ended up being pressured to work past their shift, clock out and then continue to work at a place. I still find it odd that younger people would think that working at GameStop would be a great job. Because, yeah, you get to work in a video game store, but it's still a store, right? The things you're doing there, it's not like your job at the video game store is playing video games. Your job at the video game store is so what can I get you today? Do you need this box or this box, right? But Here in the United States, man, I can say that there's a lot of job instability, or at least from the people that I know that are out there in the working world, and that there have been a lot of reports in a lot of places. I don't really know because I don't work retail anymore, but I have heard some horror stories from friends and seen some reports of things online that say that, like, because jobs are a little bit more scarce these days, that places are more than willing to, try to ask people to work longer and longer hours for less and less pay because they know that they don't have as much of a, that they're not in a position to fall back on, other jobs essentially. I don't know. Do you get any of this stuff over in the UK? You don't have, though, EB Games. You said what? Virgin, I guess, was the
no. We
no?
we just have a shop called Game, not GameStop, but Game. And I remember when I was trying to find work, I resorted okay, fine, I'll work at Game. We'll see how that goes. Mm-hmm. And they're like, have you ever worked in a game shop before? I was like, no. I used to review video games, as a job. Does that count?
You mean you didn't answer by screaming in his face, don't you know who I am? I'm Nick fucking Hodges, mate.
Exactly. Yeah. And then so they offered me the job, and I was there for 20 minutes, basically, because they said, okay, so you're starting today. I hope you're very excited. We want you to go outside and hold this sandwich board pointing to where the shop is. I was like, fuck off. I am so not doing that. I was I was thinking okay, this is brilliant. So I've got a postgraduate degree and I've, have some knowledge of the video gaming industry. I review video games and you're going to resort me to a fucking sign. No, thank you very much. So
they were trying to give you a job that could have been done by a metal pole sitting on top of a bag of sand.
So that was probably a very low point in my life, but I look back at it now and I laugh. So
yeah, I mean,
but fuck Game.
For the answer to your questions, Alex, I think that's terrible. That workers are being abused. I'm a real big fan of workers' rights. I don't really have a leg to stand on here, but having been in a few positions, I always think that I've lived in times when there are not enough people to work the jobs that are needed, and I've lived in times where there are not enough jobs for the people that are wanting their jobs. And I vastly prefer the former, because it means that you, as a worker, that there's a certain amount of respect that the job has to give you, because if they don't give it to you, well, then fuck it. I'm just going to leave and go over to those other guys. They'll treat me better. Because in my experience, and anybody who listens to the show probably knows that I'm not real pro corporate. I'm not a big rah-rah corporate capitalist kind of guy. But I have, from my experience in the tech industry, if a company can get away with any of this stuff, they will get away with any of this stuff. And outside of regulation, which is a whole other bag of worms to get into, the best way to keep this stuff from happening is to basically have, and this is just something where you just wave your magic wand, right? You need to have more of a need for workers than you have jobs that need performing. Because if that's the case, then workers have the ability to make demands and don't have to put up with a 60-hour work week where you're only getting paid for 40 of that, or well, you better come in early or you're going to be fired. Anytime, I believe that we all benefit when you live in a society where, as a worker, you could just be like, if a manager might try to make you do something stupid, that you could just be like, okay, let me go back and put I'm sorry, I've got 5 hours of sleep last night, so I'm all coffeeed up, but I believe that we all benefit when the fear should be on the side of your boss that you'll quit, not on the side of the worker that you'll get fired. Now, I know that there's a lot of cases where that can breed, lazy workers or people who don't do anything. But I believe those people should be fired then and, get the next person down the line. It's nothing that's cut and dry. But in any case, yeah, the racism, sexual assault, making people work but not getting paid.
It's a very popular job. Mm-hmm. And I guess the idea is I play video games, so maybe I'll like this job. When really it's the same thing you're doing in any form of retail job. I could be selling games is pretty much exactly the same as selling shoes at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I could go work at a GameStop, right? Nobody needs my 20 years of experience playing all the freaking games. Like when some mom comes in and is like, I need a game for my 7-year-old, I'll be like, well, let's see. Are you looking for something that really captures the ennui of man's struggle through this world? Or are you more interested in kind of the visceral combat experience of multiplayer online? I mean, are you looking for an RPG that has more of a Japanese bent, or one that's more Western with more of like a real-time combat? I mean, like, nobody needs somebody with my amount of experience to sell video games.
No, you're just told to recite the crap that they've told you to sell at that particular month.
Right.
Or you can just point them to, like, there's the gaming section alphabetically or something like that.
I mean, I haven't been in a GameStop for a while, and I spend so much time doing this shit that it's like, I'm pretty well aware of the games that are out there. There's some stuff that runs under my radar, but for the most part, anything that's top tier or even mid tier, and a lot of the indie stuff too, I'm pretty well versed in. So I wonder just how much the people who work at those stores actually have to try to guide somebody. I mean, the only thing I can imagine is some parent coming in like, yeah, my kid wants this game, and like it's got a dragon in it, and like I don't know what else. It's like it's got a dragon, and you're just like, all right, man. Well, here's the 5 dragon games that I have right now.
You're like, let's see, Dragon's Dogma. There you go.
Right.
I'm sure it has a dragon in it.
Well, I mean, a terrible thing to send back. Here, Dark Souls. Dark Souls has a dragon in it. No, your kid will love it. Your 8-year-old will love it. No, it'll be fine. All right, our next one comes in from Michael Maitrejean, who says, greetings, spooky, scary dog lords. I find myself having a hard time figuring out if I should buy my favorite games that are coming out. Okay. I find myself having a hard time figuring out if I should buy my favorite games that are coming out. Take the newest Assassin's Creed, for instance. I enjoy the gameplay and story, but Unity took a big hit, and people endlessly rip into it and make fun of the glitches. So my question is, how long should I wait after a new game is released to know if a game is good or bad? Your loyal fan, Michael Maitrejean. I figured this would be a good one for you, Nick, because you actually do wait and to see if a game is good or bad.
I generally wait a week or two. I definitely don't buy anything the first week unless it's a game I'm really stoked about. Simply because, like, okay, what reviews are out at the moment? IGN, I don't give a shit what they have to say because they're bought. GameSpot, okay, maybe they're alright. I wait until YouTubers I follow, like Angry Joe, for example, has had the time to really play the game, because I find that his opinions often correlate to what my opinions are for certain games, and he doesn't bullshit, so that's what I do. So
my answer to you, Michael, is as long as you possibly can stand it. Like, yes. The longer that you can wait to go get something, the better of the better of an idea you're going to have of how good it is or how well it's being received by people, right?
Or you could listen to you could watch one of Jeff's videos and hear his opinions about it.
You could totally. I mean, at least sometimes we get a little bit off the beaten path, but at least we put up at least video of the game the day it comes out, and you can kind of see somebody try to play it. That's like, I don't like trying to some people will sometimes be like, we'll treat our dojo videos like the reviews, and I don't want that to be the case, because it's like sometimes we're not paying enough attention for me to call
Jeff, I just gave you an opening to sell your show. You should have said something like that. It's like, oh, you just watch your Rage Select and then find out that.
I know, Nick. But it's the Rage Select podcast. If they're listening to the Rage Select podcast, chances are they're watching Rage Select. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, the answer, I mean, I've talked about this before. Like, if I think, and I think that there's a certain amount of keeping up with the newest thing that's coming out that I could definitely appreciate, especially when it's something like Dark Souls that's in the zeitgeist, or something like Metal Gear where people are talking about it. There's like think pieces coming out for it. It kind of depends on how much you're into like video game websites and things like that. But in all honesty, there is we've talked about this a few times in the past. There is a case. There's such a case to be made for saying to you, Michael, do yourself a favor, take 12 months off of video games and just read books, watch movies, write the great American novel, and paint a bunch of pictures. Then 12 months from now, start picking up the games that came out last year. Move your game playing a year backwards so that you're playing in January of 2016 the stuff that came out in January of 2015. Because here's the deal. 1, it's going to be super cheap. 2, you're going to know 100% whether or not it's worth playing. And 3, that's it. There was only 1 and 2, so I didn't have a third one.
But carry on watching Rage Select, though. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Don't have to cut out everything game-related.
No. Yeah. Paint pictures, write the great American novel, watch Rage Select. Learn to play the guitar, baby. I mean, hey. So let's see. Our next question in here is a pretty long one. This one comes in from Mark, who says, "Hey, Jeff and Nick. Salutations, lords. Okay, long-time listener, first-time writer. Question's a bit long. The short version is, do Kickstarter projects detract from smaller... Might crowdfunding in the future simply become another arm of the AAA marketing machine? So let's just read through here real fast. The subject is the rise and perhaps pending downfall of crowdfunding of games with Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and such. I made my first contribution after being a speculator for a long time, the game being Bloodstained, and has since then been donating to several other projects. Recently, it was brought to my attention that some of the smaller projects on crowdfunding platforms, those that don't have AAA caliber game design people on their team or relations to beloved and lost franchises, might be hurt by the presence of those projects. The idea was that big projects often function mostly as a marketing tool in order to test the waters for their concept, even though a lot of them already secured enough funding to finish the game. As a result, these projects can often ask for much less than would actually be needed. Example being Bloodstained, which asked for $500K, but allegedly had a budget of 10 times that, with most of it already being in place. These big projects, which often just test the water, seem to give a lot of people a wrong idea about the actual cost of developing games, which then in turn hurt the smaller crowdfunding projects, which might require just as much funding, but lack the pedigree to attract donations. If this becomes a trend, we might see a future where Kickstarter and such becomes a platform exclusively for established game developers to make whatever projects they're already working on, just with free marketing and exposure. So the question is, do you think that crowdfunding might deteriorate might deteriorate into just another marketing platform for projects that already have funding and pedigree to make the game anyway, even if those projects will often be re-innovations of existing and lost franchises? May the dog grant you its drippy blessings. And this is from Mark. Mark, that's a hell of a tangled up question you got there. Did you get all that, Nick? Did you get any of that?
Could you untangle it, please?
Yeah. So I don't know if you're familiar with this, but a lot of times when a project goes on Kickstarter, there have been a few examples of this. You'll have like a project. So let's say that there's a new, pick a franchise, right? Well, there's already a new Castlevania, but let's say that somebody wants to make a sequel to Thief the Dark Project, right? And they go on to Kickstarter, and they say they need $500,000 to make their goal of making this new Thief game, right? But what they don't tell you is in the background, they've got a backer. They've got like a corporate backer that's willing to give them like $2.5 million if they manage to reach their $500,000 goal. That the big investor is basically using the Kickstarter to see if there's enough community interest in the title in order for them to commit the larger amount of money necessary to finish the project. And the problem that he's saying here is that when that happens, all we see is somebody make this awesome game, and we see their Kickstarter, and it says $500,000. We got $500,000 when we made this frickin' fantastic game. But what we don't see is that there was an additional $2.5 million put into that game. So then when people see that, they get this idea in their head that it only cost $500,000 to make this Thief game, right? When it actually cost $3 million when you add that $500,000 into the other stuff. There's also, some other places where they will do a Kickstarter. So that's basically the crux of what he's asking, is that over time, if you have enough of these projects that are being kind of shadow funded by larger corporations, are people that donate to crowdfunded games going to become dissatisfied with smaller games that are only being funded by the Kickstarter money that's brought in? And that people are going to be like, well, this game got $100,000 and it's garbage, and this one got $100,000 and it's great, when the second one had a bunch of other funding coming in from the background. So,
I wouldn't say so. I mean, like a percentage, just because they're ill-informed, but not to hurt it that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that we're still kind of figuring out the role that a lot of this stuff. I mean, the video game industry right now and for the last few years has been in a very weird place because there's a lot of strange stuff happening. Early access, right? Early access is a thing that 5, 6, 7 years ago wasn't really even much of a thing. I mean, Minecraft, I guess, was kind of like the first early access game that was out there, or at least the first one that I was really well aware of. And now, there's a whole section on Steam that's devoted to nothing on early access, or nothing but early access. Crowdfunding, I feel like, is the same way, that we're just starting to see crowdfunding projects that fail, and what that means, when places are unable to get the Kickstarter backers, like their rewards, out. So I don't know. It could go in that direction. I have really mixed feelings about, but then I've never done it before, so I'm woefully uninformed about how much money it actually costs to make a video game, right? Like, I just don't know. Like, how much does it cost to make some of these little Steam games, right? Because they seem like they have no budget whatsoever, that you can actually squeeze a fair amount from no budget. On the other hand, when you look at some of I was talking with somebody about Kickstarter a while back, and if you look at some of the Kickstarter games and how much they actually crowdfunded to make the games, it's not a huge amount. Like, it's not just a ridiculous amount of money that they're bringing in order to make those games. So I don't know. It could honestly become just an arm of marketing, but even that I don't feel is a bad thing, because at least by letting people pre-vote with their dollar, right? They're able to it still gives the people who are donating to the Kickstarter the ability to tell developers what they want to see and what they don't want to see, right? Instead of just having developers try to shove down our throats what they think we need to be playing. But so that's kind of where I fall on that. I'm looking at the Kickstarter page right now. I'm just trying to pick one of these that I think that we've played on the game before, or on the show before. Here's Among the Sleep, which was that horror game about the little kid and his teddy bear, and this was $248,358 from 8,000 backers, which, it seems like it's I never played a whole shitload of that game, but it seems like that was a pretty well put together game for the amount of money. Plus, the other thing to remember always with Kickstarter is that a lot of times after a game is crowdfunded, the game also comes out for sale eventually. So there's a second round of funding that comes from people who actually go out and buy the game when it comes out on Steam or whatever. Anyway, Nick, have you ever crowdfunded a game before? If you're donating to a Kickstarter?
No, I haven't had that much money in order to do that. So
okay. Yeah. Spin Tires, this crazy game about off-roading Russian trucks, apparently got funded for 60,000 euros, 60,935 euros or something like that. I don't know if that's a euro or a pound mark, or I don't know what the hell that's.
Does it look like an E?
Yeah, it looks like a backwards.
Then it's probably a euro. Wait, okay. Backwards.
No. It's forwards. It's my brain that's backwards.
All right, then it's a euro then.
Actually, I just typed it into Google and it says pound. So British pound.
Okay, well, by pound. So yeah. Pound. I think my brain isn't working probably either tonight.
Yeah. All right, our next question is decidedly less complex. It comes in from BHammer100, who says, "Hey, Jeff and Nick, BHammer100 here to ask a quick and potentially terrifying question."
All right, hit it.
This is actually a call back to the very beginning of the podcast, Nick. So there's a new Star Wars movie coming out soon. Don't know if you've heard about this. Have you heard about this? It comes out on Boxing Day, I hear, Nick. Somebody told me that earlier today. Sorry. A new trailer was just released. The movie looks good, but I think it was you, Jeff, that said you could make a great trailer out of anything. So here comes the terrifying question. What will happen if Star Wars The Force Awakens sucks? more in line with the prequels than the original trilogy. Will every nerd's heart explode like what happened with Alderaan? That's not what happened on Alderaan, bro. The whole planet exploded. Will there be riots in the streets? Will Jason Murphy go on a whiskey-fueled killing spree? Thanks for your time and stay fucking classy. B Hammer 100. So, Nick, what do you think? Do you think what?
Did he just say would Jason Murphy go on a killing spree?
Yes.
No, he wouldn't because he likes the fucking prequel. So yeah.
Burn on the Murphy.
Where is Murphy when you need him?
So yeah, all right. So our doomsday scenario here is: what if The Force Awakens is terrible? What if it's just a big old mess and it sucks? And you go to the theater and you're just like, fuck.
No, it'd be like if a 10 million nerds screamed out in terror and were suddenly silenced by how awful the movie was. There's no way. I seriously doubt it because J.J. Abrams has been on a winning streak.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Star Trek Into Darkness had some problems. I mean, I like it, but I'm stupid, so.
No. I really don't. I think because from what I've seen in the trailers and the fact that they want to make everything sort of half practical, half CGI with puppets and all of that, like that just blows my mind. Even the fact that they're shooting on film, they know. They are aware of the prequels, but they just refuse to talk about them and how shitty they are. So there's a lot riding on this.
But that's not the question, Nick. You got to answer the question. It's a hypothetical question.
What would happen if it would suck? Let's
start with you. Let's start with you. What would you do if Star Wars: The Force Awakens sucks?
I'd be stroppy about it. I'd be bitching.
I don't know what that word means. Is that some kind of Britishism?
It was sulking, basically.
Oh, okay.
It is. I'd be annoyed with it, but I am not that much of a diehard fan. I think after, I was never... I hated the prequels, but I wasn't disappointed. Not disappointed. It wasn't that big of a deal. I think when I watched Indiana Jones, that's when I kind of lost faith in humanity a little bit. Because I always had it in my head that Spielberg could do no wrong. I mean, everyone hates the Lost World movie. I didn't think it was that bad, actually. I just didn't think it was as good as the first one. I didn't think it was awful. And then I watched Indiana Jones 4, and I'm like, oh my god, does not feel like a Spielberg movie. And then I started to notice him suck more and more, the more movies he made. So, yeah. it's this when you realize that your childhood icons are just people, basically. So
Yeah. I think that, here's the thing. The what the nice thing about the new Star Wars movies is just what you said at the very beginning, Nick, is we've already had some, shall we say, less than spectacular Star Wars. Here's the thing. Star Wars is not a franchise that can do no wrong. Do you know how many crappy Star Wars games I've played? Lots of crappy Star Wars games. There are lots of crappy Star Wars games. Have you ever seen the Star Wars Holiday Special? It's horrible. Have you ever watched... I know a lot of people really like the Clone Wars cartoon, but I think the Clone Wars movie that led up to that, the Clone Wars cartoon movie, with Jabba the Hutt's flamboyant uncle or whatever was there.
I would have loved it if they screen Star Wars 7 somewhere and they instead showed the Christmas special. Just see how long it takes for people to realize.
I know a lot of people have a lot of fond memories of the Ewok movies from back in the 80s, but
you're right. Yeah. Oh god.
There have been some dumb things in Star Wars. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But here's the thing: it's kind of like I kind of look at it the same way that I look at Abrams' Star Trek movies. Right? Is that I liked Star Trek, but there's no way that J.J. Abrams can make a Star Trek movie that is so bad. And please, J.J., if you're listening to this is not a challenge. I'm not trying to get you, not challenge you. But
don't prove me wrong.
That there's no way that J.J. Abrams can make a Star Trek movie that's so bad that I can't go back and watch Wrath of Khan and be like, fuck yeah, Wrath of Khan. Wrath of Khan is fucking awesome, man. You got the Moby Dick, and he's got Khan and fucking Genesis Project. Yeah. That's the thing. No, we already know that no amount of horror sucking from the Star Wars franchise is going to make the original trilogy bad, right? Lucas tried. He tried with that special edition bullshit, but We could still go back. We've still got places where we can see what the original cut of the movie looked like. And those movies are still fantastic. I saw Empire Strikes Back like a few weeks ago. It'd been a while, and I managed to catch it, and I was just like, man, Empire Strikes Back is a great movie. Like, it's just such a fun little space adventure. You got the asteroids, you got Dagobah, Yoda, and Lando Calrissian.
I think it kind of teaches you not to take it for granted and to appreciate it that much more.
Mm-hmm. Not to take what for granted?
The original trilogy.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that on the other hand, let me say that while I personally have seen a shitty Star Wars movie in the theater and know the feeling, so I'm an old hat at this. There's a part of me. It's a very small part, Nick. It's not a big part. It's a very, very small part. Very small part. There's a very small part of me that kind of wants this new movie to suck because I want to see the internet eat itself. I see people just like, oh man, fucking J.J. Abrams, he did it again. It's stupid and it's.
I totally see where you're coming from because the internet wasn't that big of a presence when the prequels first came out. The first one, Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And oh god, so if it was like the Phantom Menace, it would just you get like death threats to Disney.
The internet is so dramatic that I almost want to see the new. Star Wars movie be bad. You know what I want? I just went out. Okay. It's like halfway through the movie. Oh my god! Like halfway through the movie, there's like they're flying around in TIE fighters and one in Falcon. There's this like giant space storm, and the Enterprise comes out of it. And it's like Kirk and Spock and them, and they're now in the same franchise. J.J. Abrams is like, "Fuck everybody! I just merged Star Trek and Star Wars. Eat a dick, all you nerds! It's the same thing now." And then Gandalf jumps out of that same portal, and he's just like, "I'm here too."
Yeah. No, I want to see is that the bad guy was actually Jar Jar Binks. The whole time. I think I saw a trailer for that on YouTube. I was like, oh god, that would be brilliant if that was the case. If he was the main bad guy.
Yep. I kind of want. You know what? Oh, I kind of want them to bring Jar Jar. No, I take that back. I take it back. Nope, now you're gonna finish that sentence. Not saying it out loud. Nope. All right, our next question comes in from Trevor, and Trevor says, hello, Jeff and Nick, long-time listener since the Spill days, but first-time emailer. And my question is, has anyone else noticed how every game today is trying to be open world? Recently, I've been playing Metal Gear Solid 5, and I'm finding the majority of games I have on my PS4 are open world in some fashion, i.e. Arkham Knight, GTA 5, etc. Like most gamers, I enjoy the rich worlds that these games offer, but I find they tend to go too long and they eventually feel more of a chore to try to finish. Sometimes I enjoy a shorter game with a rich story like The Last of Us or BioShock Infinite. Why are developers trying to make games open world? Do they believe that fewer gamers finish games because of how long they are getting? Praise the almighty dong, Trevor. This kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. Just any excuse to complain about the whole open world stuff. I don't know. We talked about that before. Do you say that you don't have a whole hell of a lot of time to play games, Nick? Do you prefer a game that you can finish in like 2 or 3 settings, or something like The Witcher, where you could just keep going back to the same game over and over and over and over again for like months at a time? No,
I think games like The Witcher are an exceptional case. Mm-hmm. Because they're so good. Like I think I remember when open world games were like a treat.
Right.
Like, oh my god, you get to do this and that. Like it's so cool. Now it's kind of sort of redundant. I much prefer if a game is more linear, because then more focus is put on driving the plot forward. Whereas I don't know, if it's an open sandbox, then you're kind of overwhelmed as to what to do exactly. So
there's also a lot of like one of the things that I noticed in Assassin's Creed was there's just a lot of wasted time in that game just getting to where I need to go, right? Because the mission giver is over on the other side of London, so it's like, well, first I have to warp to the nearest warp point, and then I have to jump down off of a building, get in a carriage, and drive that over to where that person is, or run across the tops of the buildings, or whatever it takes. And then along the way, you might stop and pick up a half dozen treasure chests. But
I was just thinking about L.A. Noire. Think about it now. I don't think it needed to be a sandbox game.
Oh, no, not at all. no reason whatsoever for that game to be open world.
I seriously think if they made it more linear, then it would have looked that much better. Like with the lighting or the level design and all that stuff, it would look brilliant. Yeah. But most of the time, like you're in the game and I can't be asked to drive around. I just ask my fat partner to drive and I listen just to make sure that he doesn't talk to you anything along the way. And if he doesn't, I'm like, okay, I'm going to skip this and just go straight to the murder case or whatever.
Right. Like, having played Metal Gear Solid 5, like I could tell you right now that there's a part of me that wishes that Metal Gear Solid 5's Quotey Fingers open world was more like the Quotey Fingers open world of like Snake Eater, right? Where it's discrete areas that you can go back and forth between if you want to. But the thing about Snake Eater was that every screen that you came to was its own little ecosystem, right? And they had their own like trees and foliage and different types of animals, or they sometimes have water or swamps or things like that. Whereas, when you're just driving from place to place in Afghanistan in Metal Gear Solid 5, you're just driving. You're just driving from here to there, and there's nothing really like super interesting to look at. That's one of the other things about Grand Theft Auto 5 was that at least Grand Theft Auto 5, like when you started driving outside of the city in Grand Theft Auto 5, there were some really nice views of just, mountains in the distance and things like that to look at. Whereas, the ecosystems in a lot of these games are so similar that it's just all kind of blends together. Like, I can't tell the difference. Like, if you were to plot me down on a street in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, even though I spent like 25 hours in that game, I could not tell you the difference between what the street looks like from the street level in Whitechapel and central London. I mean, yes, I could tell the Thames from Whitechapel because there's a giant fucking river full of boats running through it, right? And I could tell Buckingham Palace and the giant park that's over by there from there. But at a certain point, there just isn't enough difference in the different places that you're going to in these worlds. I mean, Witcher was kind of the same way, right? Where you're running around in The Witcher 3 and it's just like, oh, look, another forest. And here's a lake and there's some mud and there's some more forest and there's a rock and there's some forest. I mean, say what you will about...
Yeah, I kind of disagree on that because The Witcher, like, the towns provided their own sort of character. But you could see, like, one place where you could see a traveling circus with fire eaters and stuff like that. So you see like a giant tree, or like Hangman's Tree, for example, or the cities like Oxenfurt and what's the other, Novigrad, look so different from each other. And then of course you got Skellige Island, which are like these Viking sort of like islands that look like Skyrim.
You know what? I take all that back. I never got out of the first area. Or I got out of I got out of exactly. No, wait, no, I got out of the opening area. I went to the next, like the big area that comes after that. Never went to the other areas in the game. So I guess I'm talking about is that one gigantic area where you're just running around. Where you're like, the cities look different. I'm like, I only found one thing that was a city. Everything else was just shit villages. There were just a ton of different shit villages full of people that were smeared in feces.
But I get what your point is. I mean, like with Metal Gear Solid 5, I thought Afghanistan was incredibly boring. I mean, a great example, Red Dead Redemption, of like different, landscapes. You got like forests, you got mountains, you got like the Mexico. Just so much more pleasing to the eye.
I tell you another one that comes to mind. Did you ever play Dragon Age Inquisition?
I never played the Dragon Age games.
Okay. So Dragon Age Inquisition, you had a bunch of different areas that you could go to, but it was kind of more traditional where there was one that was a little bit more desert. There was one that was a little bit more like a rock quarry, and there was one that was like a forest. There's one that was a swamp. There's one that was so there was at least some difference in the different areas that gave you some visual oomph, right? They like give you something different to look at. So that didn't all is. I feel like what happens is that you just get this kind of like brain fatigue where it all looks so similar that it all just kind of starts to fade into the background, and you're just like, I don't know, whatever. This is another forest with another bunch of dudes in it, or So anyway. All right, our next one comes in from Ruscles, who says, hello, Jeff and Nick. I hope you are all doing great today. Hey, thanks, Ruscles. My question today is about the price of games. with the last gen's version of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 having their single-player campaigns left out because of how tasking they are on said consoles, do you think the price drop of only $10 seems fair compared to the current gen versions? I'm personally surprised that they didn't just have the campaign as DLC. Also, I can understand development costs are seeing games gradually becoming more expensive, but with all the season passes and such bringing up a AAA game to about $90 to $100, do you see a backlash to this pricing happening soon? May Volva Firecrotch bless you on this day with her sweet dice rolls. Ruskles 06. Do you know? Were you on the podcast where we were talking about this, Nick? Where in the current Black Ops on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, the single player campaign has been removed from the game?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Do you think that? I think that when we were talked about that, we were pretty clear that it seems like $10 was like if you're going to go that far, knock it down to like 25, right? Or I don't know, 30 maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
half price
absolutely.
It. You know, there's a part of me that rejects the notion of, you know, there's a lot of people who kind of like to trot out the cost of making video games as a reason why you need to have all these season passes and the microtransactions and stuff like that. But I'm going to go back to what we were just talking about and say that, you know, if you could have made your Assassin's Creed game and have it feel just as good in 2 boroughs instead of 6 boroughs of London, then the cost of developing your game ain't on us. You're wasting space. Like if Afghanistan could have been cut to a third of the size that it was and then have that content packed a lot closer together and still felt just as good as it was in Metal Gear Solid 5, then the onus for how much a game costs is not on me, the consumer. It's on you to make smart decisions about what you're putting in your game, you know? If you're giving people 200 hours of content, but your market research says that most people only play about 80 hours, then skip to the end of the game, well, then all the rest of that money that you put into the game isn't something that I feel like the majority of the players shouldn't have to be burdened with, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you I think we've talked before about buying season passes and stuff like that. What do you think, Nick? I mean, is it, I don't know, 100 this whole like Black Ops $100 version of Black Ops or whatever kind of pisses me off, but I don't know.
No, I despise season passes because shit like what happened with the Batman game for the PC tends to happen. Like, why should I pay for something that I haven't even played yet? But I also think that's cutting out the single player campaign, even if it is for the PlayStation 3. I mean, when I like to play Call of Duty games, I may take the piss out of them, but they are a guilty pleasure. It's like watching Michael Bay movies. You recognize it's shit, but it's great for turning your brain off. But I don't play multiplayer games. I get frustrated, probably because I suck so much at it. But it's sort of like harmless fun. But I don't. You're cutting out a massive market on its own.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't see why we have to pay for their shortcomings. Basically, like they should know beforehand if they can actually do it.
That's kind of completely how it's so much of how of what I feel, especially because you could look on Steam or hell, we were just talking about when you go to Kickstarter and you see a game that was made for like $500,000, right? That was just not like I just rattle off the term $500,000 like that's just to you and me, to people like you and me, Nick. $500,000 that's just jumped $500,000, whatever. Fucking I have $500,000 lunches, but that's not a huge budget. But when you look at like here's one of my favorite examples. Here, let me look this up so that I can get all my numbers straight. Let's see. What the hell is it called? What's that game called that those Obsidian guys put out? Pillars of Eternity. Pillars of Eternity is an old school. Do you know what that is? Have you played that at all, Nick? It's a PC game. It's like an old school. It's like Baldur's Gate, sort of.
I was about to say if it was a sci-fi game, but I'm guessing not then.
Okay, never mind.
It sounds familiar to me.
This totally blows up my whole argument. Never mind. It got $3.9 million worth of backing, which is enough to make whatever. But I guess all I'm trying to say is that, Yeah, I know that there are a few people that I've seen in the past who argue about why games should cost more than $60. And I think that you have to say that you can't price a game solely based on the amount of money that the developer spent developing it. Like, there's a certain reality of how much the market is willing to pay for a game. And right now, that's $60. And I feel like people are putting up with the season passes and DLC and all that bullshit, even though, I mean, I've been watching the Batman stuff, and a lot of the Batman stuff seems to have been just like, I mean, we played all the way through the Batgirl stuff, and it was just like, I don't know.
But it's not even that, Jeff. I mean, I think it's outright cheeky of them to raise the prices up incrementally for every new console. I mean, like, do they do that with movie tickets?
No.
Not really. I doubt, because now in the UK, I remember PlayStation 3 games used to be like £40 standard. Now it's £45. And sometimes they even up to like £50. I'm like, are you going to... So every time we do a new generation console, is it going to be like 55, 60, 70, 70? Like, at some point, you're going to have to stop and say to yourself, holy shit, I'm spending nearly $100 or pounds on a single game. Is it worth it? That's probably one of the reasons why I don't buy so many games anymore. Simply because, it's taking the piss, I have to say. And that's just on the game alone, without all the other expansion packs and this DLC and all of that. Just the game on its own.
Yep. No, I agree. I mean, I totally agree. But the problem right now, I feel, is that video games are still in a position where everybody can talk a big game about this stuff, but we're all still going to go out and buy Fallout 4, regardless of how much they charge for it. I mean, hell, people bought the season pass for Arkham Knight, and it was like, $35, $40, something like that. And from what I can see, I mean, most of what people got were costumes and racetracks. Like, there was a little bit of story expansion, but not a huge amount. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with it. Maybe the Robin one that came out, or the Nightwing one that came out, was super, super good. But I know that the Batgirl one that came out was a little like, I mean, I beat it in like an hour. And okay, I can get the 1980s Batmobile, the 1980s Batman costume, and it's like, but I don't care enough about that stuff. I don't know. Maybe other people do. Maybe other people do. All right, we got 2 more questions that will be done for this week. First one comes in from Marcus, who says, hello, Jeff and Nick. With Jessica Jones starting soon, it got me thinking, will Marvel ever properly mix together their TV show characters with their movie characters? For example, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we could have Nick Fury visit for an episode. For example, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we have had Nick Fury visit for an episode, but we didn't see anyone from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in Avengers Age of Ultron or Daredevil in Ant-Man, etc. So will this ever happen? And if so, what would you do? Keep calm and rage on. Marcus, Marcus says just things don't actually work. That's why I don't have the British shirt that says that.
All right. I highly doubt it.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice. I mean, like, I like the Daredevil series, but I don't see Daredevil, like, rocking around with the Avengers. That'd be kind of weird, don't you think? He's like, guys, I can help too. I know some kung fu moves. It's like, puny Daredevil, get away.
Wow, why don't you do a really good Daredevil impression, Nick? The thing is that, I look at this one part of his question, and he says, but we didn't see anyone from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in Avengers Age of Ultron. So, as someone who doesn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if they had any... Like, if they had a walk-on of somebody in Age of Ultron from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that would have been fine. But if some part of the actual plot of Age of Ultron revolved around what was happening in the TV show for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that would actively piss me off. Because it would mean that they are like, oh, you can't just go watch the new Avengers movie. You have to also watch our TV show and this Netflix series and this other movie. Like, there's a certain amount of crossover that they can have, but... I feel like if you get too much, then you're going to start to cut out people who just want to go to the theater and watch that stuff. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see Daredevil show up in the Jessica Jones, maybe, right? Or Ant-Man and the Avengers, but not the other way.
No, I mean, I personally, I adore crossovers. I think that they're really cool, and it helps establish that universe. But the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be totally different from the Marvel Television Universe. And I also don't think that Daredevil has anything to really attribute to the Avengers, or What was the other characters? Jessica what?
Jessica
Rabbit?
Jones.
Jessica Jones. I don't even know what its superpower is.
Have you watched the trailer for Jessica Jones?
No, I have not. No. That blame lies on me for that. But I just feel like the Avengers on their own are so much more powerful that having like a B character, especially in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we've got enough characters already.
I'm not watching it, so I wouldn't know.
Well, they're just guys with guns, basically.
Yeah, which, I mean, the thing is that maybe if you had like a, the way that you could maybe do it would be like if you had the intro, if it, like instead of, let's say that, I mean, it wouldn't have worked in Ultron, but just stick with me here. Instead of the beginning of Age of Ultron where they're all fighting those Hydra dudes, if it had started with maybe some of the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. busting in somebody's door to get the intel on where the Hydra agents are, like, okay, make it like a 20-second thing where you just see them, but they're not, for people who haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they can just be like, oh, those guys are, maybe they kick in the door and they're like, S.H.I.E.L.D., fucking get down on the ground, we're with S.H.I.E.L.D., blah, 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 so but integrating them into the plot would unfortunately require that that all of us watch all of the things that Marvel puts out, and that's just not cool.
There would have to be some continuity for them to reappear in the other movies as well.
Yeah. I do though, Nick. I am going to say though, am going to highly recommend that you watch Jessica Jones when it comes out, because Jessica Jones, which I believe is either entirely or partially based on the old Alias comic book, she's an interesting character, and that was an interesting comic book, and the villain in there is pretty freaking terrifying. So,
okay.
And last but certainly not least, Daniel writes in and says, "Hey, you Rage crew, the mention of the Fallout beer made me think about items in games. There's been multiple times where I wish I could either use an item or eat food from a game in real life. I know we all would love to take a drink from a Nuka-Cola or use a portal gun to get around places. So my question to y'all is, if you had the chance to bring an in-game item into the real world, be it tool or food or drink, what would it be? I only ask that it's not a weapon because, duh, of course we would all want to have the Bulletstorm whip to wreck shit. Thanks and take care, Daniel." So, what do you think? A very specific genie has come to you with a very specific wish, and that wish is you could take one thing from a video game and bring it into the real world. What do you think, Nick? What would you do?
God. That's really, really hard. Well, obviously it wouldn't be a gun. I mean, because when am I going to be using a gun in real life? I don't know. Quite like... maybe the Omni tool from Mass Effect. It'll be like my iPod Bling, basically.
the big laser arm thing. Yeah.
No, yeah. So like, it's like, oh, I'm listening to whatever, and they'll be like, okay, and I'm like just pulling out my arm and like just holographic imagery coming over it. I just never understood how it worked in the game. Like, what the hell is he actually pressing if it's not there? So I just want to get my hands on one to just see how it worked.
Let's see. I mean, there's a number of different, crazy answers. Maybe like a Minecraft pick, and then I can hit a wall and things just start coming out in big square chunks. Be like, bitch. Let's see. I don't know if I don't really know that there's been that many times in a game where I've looked at food or drink. I think, strangely enough, was it like the Yakuza series that had, or was it maybe the demo for Final Fantasy 15 where they had like some really good looking food in there where I was like, man, that's some good looking food. I think a portal gun. I mean, portal gun's a pretty solid answer. Stealth camo, maybe, from the Metal Gear franchise. Of course, then you just walk around look like the Predator all the time. And you'd have a good Halloween costume. You just be the Predator every year.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the portal gun as well, actually. I mean, you know what I would do? I'd shoot one portal in the UK and then fly to a country of my choice, shoot one there, and then, just go back and forth. It's like, I feel like going out tonight, I'm going to go to the beach in Thailand.
And you'd only have to buy a one-way ticket, right?
Exactly, yeah. Or you could rent a house in Thailand or wherever and live there, and then come to work in the UK or the US.
Or, you could just shoot a portal into like an open window and go to a bank vault and steal a bunch of money, or something like that.
Yeah, actually, that would make more sense. Do you remember the movie Jumper?
Yes.
Not a great movie.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately not, but I so appreciated that there was one movie out there where some guy has a superhero power and he uses it to rob banks.
Just be a tool.
Just be a tool about it, but like we wouldn't do it. If we could get away with it, then fuck yeah, we'd all do it. Seriously,
you would. You would.
I mean, he's got like apartments in New York City and London, like all over the world, and like, of course, he's going to be doing that. Are you kidding me?
Yep. No, that dude. That's totally what we'd all be using superpowers for. There was actually a podcast, This American Life episode, where they were asking people if you'd rather have the ability to fly or be invisible. And it was kind of they framed it as a kind of a personality test, but I don't know. There's plenty of things from plenty of video games. Maybe just an upgrade screen, so I could just put some points into a few other things, or some red orbs. I don't know. But in any case, that is the way that we're going to end the podcast this week, because we're done. And as always, Nick, you and I have gone a little bit longer than I normally do. I don't even know what normal is anymore. Doesn't even matter.
It was like 2 hours and 40 minutes. Wow.
Yep. Folks, if you're looking to get a question answered, send it into mail@rageselect.com. We always need new questions. So if it's something you haven't heard, or if you're a new listener and you want to ask something, I don't ever discount them totally. If we don't answer it on one, we might answer it on the next one. If you just send it in again, mail@rageselect.com. Nick, tell the fine people one more time where they can hear you just dispense the shit out of some history knowledge to them.
Okay, so you can find me on History Buffs on YouTube. I'll be the first 8 or 9 videos there. You can also find me on facebook.com/History Buffs London, or you can find me on Twitter, like Twitter/History Buffs _. So there we go.
History Buffs _. Really?
Hey, all these other douchebags already taking the name History Buffs, so I had to improvise, dude.
How about the real History Buffs? Or
that was already taken. I'm not joking. Yeah.
The really real, I'm not joking History Buffs. Who tried I'm not joking History Buffs. No, seriously, this is Nick Hodges, and I have History Buffs. How about that one? How about that one?